how they impact your health. And an expert discusses chronic kidney disease and how to protect yourself. And Ivorian psychologist Noor Bakayoko shares some insights on bullying and what can be done.
It's important to avoid major events or major health crises.
How do you know if your cough is due to a serious condition? We'll have some answers. Stay well
and strive to make every day a healthy day.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture,
Movies, gossip and trends, sports, drama.
we bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
To keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
Siku zinasonga sambamba na matukio yanavyojiri.
Kuyajua hayo mbali na hamasa zilizopo kwingineko, shirika la utangazaji KBC limejitolea kuhakikisha ubora wa matangazo yasiyo na chuku.
Darubini huangazia mengi ya kusini na kaskazini, mashariki na magharibi na kukuwasilishia kwa njia stahiki.
Ufasaha, usawa, uketo, pasipo kuegemea upande wowote.
Iwapo hutakishaka kwa unachoarifiwa, Darubini itakidhi mahitaji yako. Jina langu ni Nancy Onyancha.
Na mimi ni Harith Salim.
Jina langu ni Gladys Mungai.
Mimi ni Ahmed Jumabalo.
Nami ni Sarafina Robi.
KBC, angazo la Wakenya.
Good morning. It's now time for us to get into the show of the morning. Welcome to the program. My name is Victor Olo. Please head on to social media and find me at Victor Olo on Instagram, Facebook, and X Space. I'm not on TikTok. I have to say that. I tried that for like 1 week. It was hard to keep it going. All right. So that was a big scare last night. It was a big scare. It was going to be our first medal and silverware at the Olympics. And then, you know, that happened, this happened. The Ethiopian, Gudaf Sergei, the appeal was there at some point, with 800 meters to go. And Faith Kipyegon, here she was, making all the strides, having the last bit of the energy reserve that she had to go with Chebet. And, you know, according to the officials, that was it's an obstruction to infraction. So, you know, she was, you know, nullified, and she was actually disqualified. And then an appeal by the Kenyan Federation, and there we have it. So we have got 2 medals. This is my take home. If you know you are right, stand to what you know is rightfully yours.
I agree with you on that.
If you are right, stand with your rightful side of your story, okay? And push. So for us, mtoto wa Ndegwa, kijana from Kirinyaga, and Marie Yambo.
Yep.
Tafadhali, let's just clap for the ladies in Paris. All right.
At least they've given us our first medals. You know, that was really, really good. And the fact that Team Kenya went ahead and pushed for that appeal, and they actually were successful with it, is such a win for us. You know, Chebet getting the gold medal, and then Kipyegon getting the silver medal. I mean, at least we have 2 medals now from the Olympics.
What is it with Ethiopia?
They are our competitors,
but
yesterday
I actually call them rivals. You call them the right name, competitors, but I stick with rivals.
Yeah. Well, well, they are both the competitors in long distance running.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So, karibu sana to the program. I'm Victor Low. Vivian, take it away.
A very good morning to each and every one of you who is tuned in on the show. My name is Vivian Ndagwa. Today being the 6th day of August, we want to welcome you to Good Morning Kenya and thank you for starting off your day right here with us. Aside from the Olympics that are happening right here, that are showing right here on KBC, we are your true sports partner. So make sure you keep it right here to remain to stay updated on everything that is happening in Paris. And now, today being a Tuesday, we will be looking at health matters. And today on health, we'll be looking at breast cancer. And we're just trying to look at ways to manage breast cancer. And joining us for that will be Jane Njagwa. Jane Njagwa is the CEO, Global Voice of the Voiceless. She'll just be here to try and let us know, for someone who's already affected by breast cancer, someone who's already suffering from this disease, how are you able to just manage it the proper way? And for those of us who don't have it, how do you maintain, how do you look after yourself to ensure that you actually try keep off this disease? You definitely want to stay tuned for that, because we'll be sharing some insights here and there. Mike.
Yeah, indeed, and that is one conversation that you do not want to miss. Away from that, before we reach to that segment, we'll be looking at matters politics and what is making headlines in our local dailies, one of which is matters to do with the deputy president, because he has said whoever wants to impeach him, to bring it on, he'll face it like a man. That is one of the things that we'll be looking at. And in studio, I'll be speaking to Ireri Mwathi, who is a political analyst, Winnie Kaburu, also a political analyst, and Advice Mundalo, who is a communication strategist. So you want to tune into that conversation, which will come to you after the news. Marie, take it away.
Indeed, a very good morning from wherever you're joining us. My name is Marie Yambo, and indeed, congratulations are in order to Faith Kipyegon and also Beatrice Chebet for bagging the gold and silver in the Paris Olympics that are ongoing right now. And definitely Mary Moraa for also getting a bronze in the 800 meters. You know, Victor, there are always setbacks, but I'm very sure that Faith is planning a comeback. It might not be in the Olympics, but just to, unajua ile asira unakuwa nayo when you've planned yourself. I'm sure she was going for the gold. That was. I'm also sure if she has a gold in the same race in the Olympics, because that's always, can I say, a vision for all athletes, like running in the Olympics or any other international platform. So you can be rest assured that Faith Kipyegon is planning a comeback, whatever that comeback will be. We are yet to see it. So we can only say congratulations to all of them. It's hard work, but what happens, happens. But at the end of the day, we don't give up. So, exactly. So thank you so much for making the time for us. It's time for the news. And let's begin with the Supplementary Appropriation Bill, where President William Ruto signed the Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2024 into law. The bill was passed by the National Assembly on July the 31st to realign the budget estimates following the rejection of Finance Bill 2024, resulting in a revenue shortfall of approximately 344 billion shillings. In the revised expenditure, the executive has lost 139 billion shillings, Parliament 3.7 billion shillings, while the judiciary has lost 2.1 billion shillings. However, it is a relief for junior secondary school intern teachers, as a total sum of 18.7 billion shillings has been retained for their confirmation into permanent and pensionable employment terms.
Following the rejection of the Finance Bill 2024, after a month-long anti-tax protest by the Gen Z, President William Ruto on Monday assented to the Supplementary Appropriations Bill 2024 that aims to revise government expenditure downwards. This necessitated by projected revenue shortfall, estimated at 344.3 billion shillings that the contentious finance bill had targeted to collect through tax increments. The biggest casualty is the executive that now loses 139.8 billion shillings drawn from the ministries. Parliament will see a 3.7 billion shillings reduction in its budget, while the judiciary budget has been slashed by 2.1 billion shillings. Further, State House and Office of the Deputy President budgets were cut by 6 billion, National Treasury by 7 billion, Ministry of Health by 6.9 billion, while the budget for road and transport was cut by 17.3 billion shillings. However, to safeguard the agriculture sector, the new act has appropriated 20 billion shillings to support farmers. These include 7.5 billion shillings for fertilizer subsidy, 3 billion for coffee cherry fund, 2 billion to waive coffee farmers' debt, 2 billion for purchase of milk coolers, 1.5 billion shillings for milk price stabilization, and 700 million shillings to support sugar farmers. In the education sector, all junior secondary teacher interns will have a reason to smile, as 18.7 billion shillings has been appropriated for their confirmation into permanent and pensionable employment terms. 30.7 billion shillings will go to capitation for JSS students, 23 billion shillings to universities for the differentiated unit cost funding model, 31.3 billion shillings to the Higher Education Loans Board for scholarships and loans, while 17 billion shillings will go to the University Funding Board for scholarships to university students. In the health sector, the medical internship program will receive 3.7 billion shillings, 4 billion for the primary healthcare fund, 4 billion for contracted UHC healthcare workers, and 4.5 billion shillings for community health volunteers allowances and equipment. Giverson Maina, Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you, Giverson Minor. Now, the newly appointed University of Nairobi Vice-Chancellor, Professor Margaret Hutchinson, has assured the university fraternity of transparency and fairness in her leadership. Professor Hutchinson, who will act for 3 months following the ouster of Professor Stephen Kiama last week, promised the students of a review in their hostel charges that had been hiked from 6,000 to 42,000 shillings.
Monday morning, Professor Margaret Hutchinson embarked on her new role as the new University of Nairobi Acting Vice-Chancellor for a period of 3 months. This follows the suspension of Vice-Chancellor Professor Stephen Kiama for 3 months, pending conclusion of investigations into his alleged misconduct and insubordination.
I just want to commit myself to giving the best service that I can, God enabling me, that we together can deliver excellence for this university and make sure that we maintain and celebrate the legacies of those who have gone before us and ensure that the University of Nairobi continues to be a beacon of hope, not just for the higher education in Kenya, but also for the country, for the region, and for the international community.
Professor Hutchinson has been serving in the institution as the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Research, Innovation and Enterprise. Speaking with the media, Professor Margaret pledged to uphold transparency, accountability and fairness in her leadership, calling for cooperation among the students in order to achieve it.
We'll again, in a very participatory manner, re-engage with the students and see what we can do. But I cannot say that tomorrow I will bring down the prices, because that was done in a very consultative manner. But we will try to engage with them and see.
The university students who welcomed the new acting vice-chancellor in celebration advocated for change in the new administration.
We have many students' issues, which we will later give her memoranda, from accommodation fee to the students' fee to the missing marks.
We are very happy with the outcome of the situation. We are saying that you can fight for long, but long is not forever. At one point, the battle has to stop, and this is our stopping point. And we stop here with the appointment of Professor Margaret Hutchinson and the suspension of Professor Stephen Kiama. The comrades are tired, and at this point, we say that change is necessary.
Other changes made in the institution include the appointment of Professor Ayub Njoroge as Acting Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic Affairs and Professor Francis Mula, who will replace Professor Margaret Hutchinson as the Acting Deputy Vice-Chancellor Research and Innovation. All the appointees will serve for a period of 3 months. Kasi Chanamasha, Good Morning Kenya.
Indeed, Bungoma County government is on the spot for failing to update multiple accounts operated by various municipalities in different commercial banks. Bungoma County Governor Kenneth Lusaka had a difficult time explaining to the Senate County Public Investment Committee why the county was running 2 youth empowerment accounts in one commercial bank with different sets of signatories. The senators also raised concern that 2 years since taking office, the county government of Bungoma was unaware of the signatories of the accounts of various municipalities.
Bank account, that is family bank. There is a space there. There is a vacuum, it is not printed, the account number. Then you have Bungoma Municipality Urban Development Grant, Family Bank. The account number ends with 017. Then the two funds, the two bank accounts are meant for fund operations.
How do you ensure compliance if you are just giving instructions to your own officers and not to the bank? And in any case, why once you have opened the accounts, why do you allow the officers to still be signatories there to these bank accounts? Why? I mean, why have so many signatories?
When they found that the chief officer was acting as the accounting officer, so we have since regularized and said the manager of the municipality will be the accounting officer. The chief officer will just attend meetings of the board for purposes of reporting to the executive through the CEC finance. So that has not been happening, and that we have already made that observation, because again that was a gray area where who should actually be the manager, and even the donors the donors indicate that the manager of the municipality will be the accounting officer of the funds. That's what the law says. So we have since made it clear and regularized that. It has not been happening. It has been a gray area, but we have now done what is supposed to be done.
Moving on, Amani National Congress has formally approved its merger with the ruling United Democratic Alliance Party. NC party leader, Governor Issa Timami, convened an Amani Council and NC elected leaders meeting in Lamu County that resolved to merge with UDA. The Amani Council also elected Governor Issa Timami to lead, coordinate and oversee the full implementation of the process of the merger. Moving on, the Center for Mathematics and Sciences in Africa is challenging parents to support children with an interest in science, technology, and engineering and mathematics in advancing their skills. Jacinta Akatsa, the Chief Executive Officer of the center, emphasized on the need to nurture and build capacity of students' creativeness, innovativeness, and promote a community of problem solvers and critical thinkers. She was speaking during the kickoff of the 5th semester boot camp targeting students aged between 9 and 18 years.
Designed to ignite curiosity, inspire innovation, and equip students with skills needed to excel in the rapidly evolving world, the 5th Center for Mathematics and Sciences in Africa, Semostea STEM Bootcamp, kicked off in earnest.
Creative coding is where you learn how to make animations, games using an application called Scratch.
Here, over 100 pupils as young as 6 years old, eager learners converge for a 5-day bootcamp to learn creative coding, robotics A Tetrix, robotics B EV3 kit, mobile app development, 3D fabrication, and Arduino prototyping.
We are focusing a lot on artificial intelligence, coding, and related areas. Anyone without any background in computing and the like is really welcome.
Apart from learning, the pupils interact with established stakeholders in STEM pathways, such as Samuel Njuguna, who is a developer and owner of a mobile money saving app, Chums.
And growing up, all I knew was ng'ombe, kukata majani. I was very green. Sio juu ya majani, but I was very green, meaning I was not exposed to computers.
But after going to high school and having a teacher who really believed in my interest in the space, I was able now to be involved in technology, and right now I run a successful tech company that offers a savings app called Chums with over 200,000 users.
Stakeholders pushing for an all-round training, even as Semastea looks forward to advance to other counties in the country.
Other than the school holidays, we could interest children to come also to Semastea over Saturdays when they are free. And even beyond that, because Semastea may not be accessible to children across the country, we are hoping to find a way of decentralizing these activities to some of the schools that we already have that are in the counties that can reflect what it is that we are doing.
Particularly, our focus is on creative coding, knowing very well that coding is entrenched in the curriculum, in the current curriculum, and we hope that the students will be able to engage and have a bit of skill uptake in areas of coding.
Bringing people who are in the space, or people who are already practicing or walking the talk in terms of the solutions they are building through technology, being part of the ecosystem.
Why we bring kids into this is because it's a bootcamp that helps them demystify the idea around coding, the idea about AI, and the whole idea about science. So basically you get kids after the program, they're inspired to even dive further. You find that they go deeper into STEM, and even they're able to pick up STEM courses as they move forward.
Sarafina Nairobi for Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you, Sarafina Nairobi, for that report. Now, Kenyans have been urged to improve public health by ensuring they have enough toilets as one of the ways to fight Jiga infestation in the country. Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni cited poor housing, poor personal hygiene, and spending time in flea-infested areas as some of the major contributing factors for Jiga infestation. Statistics from the Ministry of Health indicate that close to 1.4 million Kenyans are affected by Jiga infestation.
Statistics from the Ministry of Health indicates that close to 1.4 million Kenyans are fighting Jiga infestations, causing them sleepless nights. To try and reverse the sorry, state a lotion said to fight the menace has been launched in Murang'a. The lotion, manufactured by Saraya Africa in collaboration with Nagasaki University of Japan, will help prevent and cure Jiga-infested wounds. Health Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni, who witnessed the launch, said the most affected are children, the elderly, and people with disability, urging Kenyans to improve their levels of hygiene by ensuring enough toilets in their homesteads.
It is the high time as a country we improve our public health issues by ensuring equally that we have toilets and enough toilets in our households.
The wife to the Prime Cabinet Secretary Tesi Musalia, who was present, said addressing Jiga infestation, which has mainly affected low-income community, is a step towards alleviating the economic hardship and improving their quality of life.
This lotion is designed to be both curative and preventative, thus aligning with the Sustainable Development Goals number 3 and 4, which is to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages.
Ahadi Kenya Trust Chief Executive Officer Dr. Stanley Kamau said several milestones have been achieved in the campaign to eradicate jiggers, highlighting the formulation of policy on prevention and control of jiggers and setting aside a day for jigger awareness as some of the achievements in fighting the menace.
Jigger is just like any other disease. It's one of the neglected diseases. We have worked so hard, and I think in the next few years, if it hasn't happened, Madam PS, it should be in the list of neglected diseases.
Tilio Marco for Good Morning Kenya.
Moving on, a youth mentorship initiative has been launched in Nairobi to dissuade high school boys in informal settlements from engaging in crime, drugs and substance abuse. The Ubuntu Youth Empowerment Program also seeks to shape the youth's career roadmaps.
The youth in informal settlements are often prone to drug and substance abuse, crime, truants and teenage pregnancy. Youth Empowerment Program seeks to address these challenges among high school boys.
The primary focus of this is to be able to transform lives and livelihoods of these young people, ensure that they also have knowledge in terms of the careers that they aspire to be when they grow up in future. Also tackle the aspects of juvenile delinquency.
The initiative will train 50 boys drawn from Kangemi's informal settlement for 5 days on the need to avert conflict and crime.
There is an issue of the emphasis of the empowerment of the girl child, but nobody talks about the boy child. So this program seeks also to pick those boys from single parent families and to provide them with a brother-to-brother mentorship program.
This is a partnership between the Alex Matere program and the Kenya School of Government.
Provide platforms where young people can understand their role, understand government better, and of course continuously have the right information, the first-hand information on how government operates.
The trainees on their part vow to be role models their peers upon completion of the training.
Pale nimetoka kunakuwa na conference vita kila saa. I believe kupitia program nitakuwa na mtu mwenye naweza solve kukiwa na shida kaa hizo.
We are taught values to be great leaders, to solve some problems in the society.
Pastor Frederick, good morning, Kenya.
Thank you, Frederick Parsayo. A section of early childhood development education teachers in Machakos County are now calling on the county government to implement the scheme of service, citing the environment they work in as humiliating. Kenya Union of Pre-Primary Education Teachers National Chairman, that is Lawrence Otunga, accused the county government of neglecting their plight. He urged the county government to implement the recommendations of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission that ECDE teachers be given a salary rise and employed on a permanent basis.
We have come to bring to an end the intimidation of Machakos ECD teachers. Yes. We are here to demand for what is rightfully theirs.
Yes.
Machakos teachers must be paid according to their qualifications.
Yes.
And they must be placed in the correct job groups.
Nimeajiriwa na contract. Madam, nakuuliza hiyo contract unatupatia tu mwaka mmoja. Inaonekana ni kama tutafutwa kabla tutimize miaka yetu. Tunakuuliza tu kwa utuonee huruma haki. Utupatie hiyo tukienda huko tukilitaya. Madam, huo unatupatia pension.
Well, I look at business now, where the Kenya Association of Travel Agents wants the next Cabinet Secretary for Tourism to drive policy changes regarding the issuance of Kenya's electronic system for travel authorization, ETA, at the point of entry. Kenya Association of Travel Agents CEO Nikano Sabula says working on Kenya's ETA pricing and increasing Kenya's tourism budget are some of the quick wins that should be in the incoming Cabinet Secretaries in tray.
Ministry of Tourism records show that in 2023, the tourism sector contributed 353 billion shillings to the country's economy, with ambitions to generate 700 billion shillings annually moving forward. But stakeholders say this target may not be realized until some policies are relooked to improve visitor numbers.
We've consistently been asking for the retweaking of that ETA so that it doesn't disadvantage us as a destination. So we want to see ETAs that are given on arrival. Number two, we want to see exemptions for countries that previously experienced visa-free.
Sabula says on its part, the Kenya Association of Travel Agents, KATA, is encouraging its members to reinvent their offerings through innovation in a bid to compete with the prevailing current travel trends.
It has shifted from the brick and mortar travel agencies that we used to find at the corner of every street in the major cities of the world into the digital platforms. You know, you don't need to go to a travel agent. We sat down as an association and decided to host an innovation forum. And in this forum, we are inviting various innovators in the space of the payment, in the space of travel.
Currently, as the country enjoys its peak tourism season, the Kenyan travel sector has seen disruptions as a result of travel advisories brought about by political discontent. However, the sector has continued to show growth.
And for us, is just to ask Kenyans, tourism is our mainstay industry. And whereas, we understand people may want to agitate, I think it is important we do it in a peaceful environment, because every time, these images are beamed on the international or even local screens here, it holds people's decision to travel, and therefore that affects our industry in a big way.
Kenya projects to reach 3 million visitors by the end of 2024 and 5 million visitors in the next 2 to 3 years.
Well, and passengers flying Kenya Airways will now remain seamlessly connected throughout their travels following a partnership between the national carrier and Safaricom. The venture seeks to leverage Safaricom's internet capacity to elevate customer experience and enhance the airline's operational efficiency. Additionally, the deal will also see the two organizations focus on developing and implementing Internet of Things solutions for warehousing, baggage tracking, aircraft materials, and ULD to cover tracking, location, reconciliation, and stock taking. A total of 102 players competed in the second edition of the New Gen Golf Tournament held at the Windsor Golf Course in Nairobi. The number of players doubled from the first edition held last year, where only 58 players took part.
Jay Wainaina of I&M Bank emerged the overall winner of the New Gen Golf Tournament held over the weekend at the Windsor Golf Club. Wainaina took the overall prize after beating David Njoroge of Equity Bank, who won the men's title. Wangare Kariuki of S Events Management was the best lady in the one-day tournament that attracted 102 players, double the number witnessed last year when only 58 players competed.
Golf has a lot of similarities with business. You have your ups and downs in business, and you have your good shots and bad shots in golf, and you carry on with that. And that philosophy of golf and our organization, so we took to this sport to move things forward in the sporting arena. We also sponsor few professional golfers around the world, and we also sponsor a golf academy outside of Kenya, that's in India, of course. But again, it's coming from the philosophy that golf teaches you a lot of life lessons.
The tournament was organized to support the growth of the sport both in Kenya and India, where cricket is the dominant discipline.
The focus is coming on the SMEs and the MSME segments, and there's a lot of initiatives from the government side as well, and the banks are well aligned to it. We have done the similar things in India, we have done the similar things in US and the other territories. So we would want to share those best practices, get those best practices in the region. A lot of initiatives on the digital transformation front, because as you want to address more and more MSME segments in the region, you have to go digital, there's no other option. Customers would not be coming to the branches most of the time. So you have to reach out to the customers and to the remotest part of the country. So digital is the only way out.
In addition to growing the sport, players competing in the one-day tournament were drawn from financial institutions, including banks and insurance companies, who are bonding through the game as they look to share their new services with their customers.
We directly interact with the CIOs of the organization, the chief executive officers and their team to understand what the problem areas are, and thereafter we come up with solutions and customized and tailor-made for them. So we have our local presence here, we have people from New Gen who are based over here and are regularly interacting with clients. So it gives us immense pleasure here today to be hosting a golf event, per se, golf tournament, and as you can see that there are men and women participating in the golf event. So there is no such thing as gender when it comes to a game.
All the top players in all the categories were rewarded.
Of course, the Olympic Games continue right here on KBC Channel 1, so you want to stay tuned to be entertained. And as we wrap up, just a reminder, by now you know that Beatrice Jabet bagged the gold. Silver went to Faith Kipyegon in the 5,000 meters, while 800 meters was Mary Mora taking the bronze. Congratulations to the ladies, and we look forward to more medals as the days wrap up. So On that note, I want to conclude the news this morning. Thank you so much for taking the time to start your day with us here on Good Morning Kenya. Always a pleasure to host you. Right now, I want to give room to my colleague, that is Mike Megwe. He'll be coming shortly with People and Politics.
I never heard the music so sweet. I repeat.
Wagwan, me brethren, big things are going. Remember, each and every Monday we have to shell down the place with nothing but the best of smooth way the vibes in your favorite station. You know these things, man.
Alafu kila Tuesday, kata simu tupo side, giving you Kenyan music from the 254.
And of course, you can spice up your Wednesday by enjoying blazing hot hip-hop and R&B jams.
We don't got no label. She say she want bottles.
Vibes and vibes as we go all across Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, all the way to Tanzania to give you nothing but the best on Afro Thursday. Make sure you make a date with us each and every single Friday with me, DJ_Liza Diva,
DJ Cold,
and me, Wanjiko. This is Club One Extra.
Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa. Hatija ai, money especially ukisonga.
Mimi ni Alex Sang, coach ya middle distance. Tunaenda pale Paris. Nawatakia wa Kenya mutuone na mutushangilie, mutuombe. Tunatarajia kwamba tutapata ushindi.
Exactly 10 minutes past the hour. Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Megwe. Time now for People and Politics. We're talking about the political landscape and also what is making headlines in our local dailies. In studio, I'm joined by Advice Mundalo, who is a communication specialist. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
How are you?
Not bad, I'm fine.
Yes.
Yes.
Last time ulikuwa hapa, the cabinet was not yet vetted.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And also Ireri Wamwathi is joining us in studio. Karibu sana.
Good morning.
Yes. How are you doing?
Perfect.
Yes.
I'm doing fine.
Actually, speaking of the vetting of the CSs, what do you think of the process?
The process is constitutional.
Yes.
That's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be vetted by the committee, then go to the committee will take their findings to the main house. So that's the normal process according to our constitution. However, we didn't see any difference, anything big, anything major from what they have done before or what they did with the vast parliament after the Kenya Kwanza government came into power. So, and I'm sure you don't expect anything different also. We know this committee, during the vast vetting of after the government came into power, they took all the names I expect the same this time.
So you see full confirmation over the
Yeah. We don't expect any change.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe in the main house, but not in the committee.
Yes.
Yeah, because even the way it was going, you could hear some of the questions were a bit biased towards. We are taking you. We are okay with you. You could hear some of the candidates actually. Some of the members trying to assist the candidates to answer the questions in a way that they would be okay with the viewers or with the public. So I don't expect any rejection of anybody from the committee level.
Yes.
Maybe in the main house there can be challenges, but at the committee level they will take. They will forward everybody.
That's quite interesting. Mundalo, what did you think of the process, and do you agree with what Mwathi has said?
Maybe partly. But what I was able to see from the process, one was I must be able to applaud the professionalism of the speaker, Honorable Moses Wetangula. I think he led quite a seamless process.
Yeah.
And I liked the fact that his emphasis was more on the strengths of the nominees more than the weaknesses, so that at the end of the day, if your biggest strength is still not strong enough, that is for you to then, like he gave you the biggest opportunity for you to really put up a defense of yourself. So I would really applaud the professionalism in the speaker. Two, what I also found out through the vetting process is the work that has been done by former cabinet secretaries, because we saw some of them were able to come back to the cabinet. And for instance, you could see Honorable Salim Vuria when he was presenting about his work at mining, and everyone in the committee was so shocked that all that work had been done at mining, which simply points to the reality that communication has remained the weakest link of this government. Actually, the more they vetted previous cabinet nominees, the more the entire panel continued to say, are you guys communicating what you people are doing? I was able to see them put former Governor Alfred Mutua really to task and tell him, but you have been known before to be quite a communicator. What happened once you got into this? So I was able to see that also came out, actually, that most of the work that government has been able to do has not been able to be communicated effectively.
Yeah.
And another thing that came up during the vetting process was the strength of politicians, because we have had the saying that we don't want politicians.
Yes.
We want the so-called technocrats. But I think politicians also were one of the most celebrated during that vetting process. You could see actually the entire country really celebrated Honorable John Mbadi. And I think it was able to espouse the reality that just because people are in politics, it does not mean they are not professionals at anything. Because we would be able to see how the professionalism of Honorable John Mbadi came out. I would also see a lot of online celebration of Professor Kindiki during his vetting process, and people just saying, I think they are now getting to understand him differently. You'll be able to also see how the public really applauded Joho, former governor of Mombasa, and people just feeling like they did not know him to the extent that they now do. So to me, it was also quite a win for the political class, which has always been judged to be non-technocrat. They are not tech-savvy. They are people who should be avoided when it comes to the governance processes.
Maybe because it's of the political rhetoric that people are used to.
Yeah, it's just people are just used. They just feel like every time you talk about we want something to be done well, I think the first thing that comes to a Kenyan's mind is then don't use politicians.
Yeah.
But you were able to see this was a situation where we had both the technocrats and the politicians on the vetting panel. And not to say the others did not do very well, but I'm looking at what was generally applauded by the general public.
Yes.
And the general applause by the Kenyan public was basically actually on the names of the politicians.
Yeah.
So to me, it was also quite a win for the political class. So in my judgment is people were given the absolute best opportunity to really showcase what they need to do. And yesterday I was just doing my personal review of the vetting process and wrote an article about it and said, on a scale 1 to 10, I found maybe 2 cabinet secretaries, nominees, not quite up to the task, but one of them to me is an absolute no for me. But I was like, I don't want to say who my thinking is, because I'm not one of the panelists.
Before you go to the papers, Mwathi, do you think the vetting process met the public expectations?
Partly yes, because it was transparent.
Yes.
It was just in public. There was nothing that was hidden. Everything was people could follow. So that's one area that we have really moved ahead. I think as far as the quality of those who are being interviewed, maybe the public may not have been quite okay with number one. Even there were issues. First of all, with the risk.
Yes.
Just as my brother said, you see, we did not expect a good number from their old. So there was simply, when the public was coming into this, they had already a preset mind that this thing is wrong. But the way it came out, those who did it came out very clearly. Even if they were in the area cabinet, they really convinced the public that we are equal to the task. A good example is when the CS for Interior came out clearly, and he was able to tell or to explain what he had done in his ministry for the few days he was there, until people came, unlike how the perception that they had before. They had a different view of, given that what had been done, or rather what had happened in the few months that he was in the docket that he was in. Yeah. So to the public, I would give, in a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
Can we also say during this process of the vetting of the CSs, it was also a time for Parliament to be vetted by the public? Mundalo?
Yeah, sure. It was absolutely time for Parliament to really try and redeem itself. And they really tried in terms of going the extra mile to push so hard to some of the questions they would ask. You would be able to feel like they're not asking for themselves, but they're asking for the public. For instance, you would be able to see they were so keen on even the corruption allegation by the EACC to former Kakamega Governor, Honorable Paranya. They really tried to bring that out, and just to see to it that matter is actually brought. The question is not just in public domain, but it's actually at the vetting panel. You are able to see what they did with the academic credentials of former governor of Mombasa, Honorable Joho. They really put him to task to it, which is actually a public expectation. Maybe probably if it was before the Gen Z uprising, maybe that question would not have come up in Parliament. But this time it was really able to come up. So I was able to see parliamentarians really try and satisfy the public. You would be able to see the Speaker of the National Assembly reading the questions from the public, just directly from his phone. Together with, I also saw Junet Mohammed and a few others, including Honorable Caleb Amisi, who I even personally sent a few questions, and I was able to see those questions actually asked. So I just did that to also try and test and see, are they really reading messages from the public, or is it just another PR show?
Yeah.
But I was able to see that actually there was a real attempt to try and put to task the nominees from the questions of the public. So of course you can never meet 100% of public expectation because again, we have public expectation that some people in the public just feel like even these were not the right nominees in the first place. So you would not be able to meet the expectation of such kind of a person. But I think we talk about just being able to certify beyond average. Yeah, because I think that is what would be normal, just beyond average. And I think above average, they were able to really certify the public. So we just await and see what is the report that they would be able to do. sometimes, because personally I also feel there is a bit of inequality in the cabinet, where I feel the capacity of some cabinet secretaries is way higher than the others. Then I feel like, are they going to really sit in one cabinet? Because some look like they need lighter duties. Yeah.
Does it also speak to the skills? Do the skills match the job?
It's another thing that I really got to ask myself that, because, you know, cabinet is appointed by the president, and it's a reserve of the president to put a minister wherever the president wishes. Now, my question was, we have based a lot of our questioning on the ministry assigned. So then what happens in a reshuffle? Because we have vetted you for environment, for instance, and we have been able to see your competence at that. So then what happens during a reshuffle? That's what I just asked myself. But in regard to what they have been apportioned to as at now, I felt maybe above average. Most of them could really, it was a square peg in a square hole. Most of them would be able to fit the bill. I liked the choice of Honorable Mbadi for Treasury, and you'd be able to see his answers to those questions, and you'd be able to see that this is a gentleman who really fits the bill. I was able to see the experience of Honorable Joho in those matters of the mines and whatever. You could be able to feel like he has also done a bit of background check to just understand how the industry works. So I think for me it was also good enough. I looked at, then we came to the agriculture docket. You will be able to see that is an ardent professional from Nyandarua, a real professional within that agricultural space. So that was also quite a fit for the job. And of course, our youngest nominee, the 32-year-old, and the speaker said his worth is way more than an average 32-year-old. But I was able to see, you could be able to see his experience in the water sector. He's a gentleman who I think has lived most of his professional life actually just dealing with the water issues, and he had quite an understanding about matters water, especially in central Kenya and a bit of northeastern. You could be able to see that he has actually been in the field. So my wish would be such kind of a person who wouldn't need to be reshuffled later on with such kind of experience in water. We wouldn't need to reshuffle such a professional later on and take him to labor, for instance. So for me, it was quite above average that most of these people were able to fit the bill. But also it just also speaks to the reality that they also need to get to the ministry and work with professionals. Sometimes we have a wrong mentality that the minister is the one who must know everything. You know, ministers are basically appointees of the president. They are on policy matters. But ministries are embedded with professionals in the ministry who've been there, who understand that particular job. So it's important that the ministers do not get to work and then put away the professionals, because they must be able to guide you in making the right policy decisions. Your role basically as a minister is to provide leadership. That is why it's possible for you to be actually reshuffled from one place to the other, because your sole responsibility is the provision of leadership in the first place. So they should not be able to run away from the reality of the use of professionals in the different ministries.
Asante sana. That is quite interesting. Now let's take a look at what is being reported on our local dailies, and let me start with the Standard. Actually, the Standard and the Stars speaking quite almost the same. Gachagua, I know they are after me. This is the first story that is splashed on the front page of the Standard. Deputy President tells his backyard there are efforts to intimidate him. There is an impeachment motion against him in the works, and his friends are being bullied by government. But he says he is here to stay. Matthew, what do you think of that?
It has been for quite a number of days now. We have seen the Deputy President being in a catch-22 position, and now the issue of impeachment on his back. I think it's a situation where I don't see it going far. Reason being, there's no way this can go on without the nod of the head of the state, irrespective of the fact that it's being done in the house. There has to be the executive backing for it to materialize. And there's so much on the entry for the executive to handle. We know the Gen Z issues. I don't think anybody will add another baggage of now dealing with the impeachment of his deputy when there is an issue of the Gen Z trying to set up the new cabinet, which will be approved. I think there will be too much, and the focus may only be on the how to constitute the executive, set it up, set the ball rolling on how they can go on with their duties. I think that is what is bothering the executive. That is what is bothering the president. That is what is ahead of him for now. As for Gachagua's impeachment, that will be another burden. That will be another disruption. Remember, the deputy president is part of the executive, which is coming in force. Now, when you talk of the executive being formed without now the number two, I think it will not be so good. However, because this is done at the executive, at the legislature level, not at the executive, this can go on, but I'm sure it will not see the light of the day. I'm seeing a situation where, irrespective of the differences which may be there, we may see a repeat of what happened in the last regime, where the current president was the deputy. Even with the differences, they walked the path. They are joined at a level that trying to divorce them, trying to impeach one, will be a tall order. And look at the implications that this may bring into the public. We know in Kenya we have the voting patterns. We know where Gachagua comes from the mountain. This impeaching him will be like lapa stamping that we are okay with you, the mountain going away. That will not be something very good. And everybody who want good of the public would like to bring things together. So I'm seeing a situation where this impeachment may die naturally, just to ensure that for the good cohesion of the government, good cohesion of the country, unlike bringing disturbances, unnecessary disturbances at a time when we have enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me interest you with a cup of tea before I come to you, but I'm coming to you after this short break. So don't go too far. Good Morning Kenya continues shortly.
Safaricom, proud sponsor of Team Kenya at the Olympics.
It took 5 Olympic Games and almost 3 hours in this final. He finally claimed the gold medal and completed the Golden Slam.
7-6. 7-6.
He was overcome with elation at winning the Olympic title for himself and his country.
At her first Olympic Games, Faulkner went across the line to confirm that she was Olympic champion.
glory in her sights, Crovetto Chadid secured a first ever shooting gold for Chile and the country's first Olympic medal in 16 years. So bronze to Austin Smith of the United States of America, silver to Great Britain's Amber Rutter, and an historic gold for Francisca Crovetto Chadid of Chile.
Safaricom, proud sponsor of Team Kenya at the Olympics.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture.
Movies, gossip and trends, sports, drama.
We bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
To keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migo and this is People and Politics. And before we went on a break, we were talking about matters to do with the Deputy President. But before we go back to that in studio, I'm also joined by Winnie Kaburu, who is also a political analyst. Karibu sana. How are you doing this morning?
Good.
For purposes of fairness, I asked the two gentlemen their views on the vetting process of the CSs. In a few words, what do you think of the process?
Oh, thank you very much. Sorry, I'm a bit late.
No problem.
But I'm here.
Yes.
I checked and looked and listened to the vetting of the CSs.
Yeah.
To say the truth, I was disappointed because I didn't think they were asking the right questions. It was like, to me, it was more like friendly match or friendly talk by friends, because the questions asked were like something which they already expected. Secondly, when they started talking of how much they own or earn or they have, the amount of money was amazing. Those people have got so much, I don't know what they do. Me as a business person, I don't know what they do that they have that kind of money. And nobody asked, where do they get this money? They don't do any business. They are employed, the salary, we know how much they earn. So to me, there were no right questions which were being asked for this. I mean, like in any interview, even a jobs interview, you asked your experience, where you went to school, all these things. But to me, it was more of friends having a talk. So the interviews were like something which was not meant to be.
So in your own words, or from where you stand, it did not meet expectations?
My expectations were not met. Kenyans' expectations were not met. That is not interview. I think the best thing is just they go the way they used to go. You are appointed and you take the job. And that's why we're having problems, because the people who are being put in office, we really don't know. We know them, but we really don't know them by what the interviews bring them out to be. Because it's like just a conformity of some kind. Yeah.
So from where you stand, what would have been done differently?
It should have been a real interview, not a duplication of something in quotes. Because if you are interviewing somebody for an interview, especially a position like a CS, you need to know, is this person really capable? What are their past experiences? For example, the One governors. We have got the history of them, what they did in their counties for those 5 years or so. How did they manage to make sure that the corruption which we are all talking about was stopped? Were they corrupt? What is their record? So from there you can know, what are you putting in office? If somebody was able to be corrupt in being a governor or wherever they were working, what makes you think that when they come to be a CS, they won't continue with their behavior or with their character? Again, when someone has amassed so much money, and we are all crying in this country that the government doesn't have money, we can't do this because we don't have money. They have amassed so much. Where did they get that money from? Which business were they doing? Is it the salary? If it is the salary, then we can account for it. The government has got mechanism whereby they can be able to check all this information. So to me, there's a lot of pretense.
Okay, that is, according to you, there's a lot of pretense from how it was.
They are hoodwinked us.
Now, the story on the first page of the Standard is talking about Gachagua and why he is saying they are after me. And I want to get this from you, Mundalo. What do you think of this? And actually, the Deputy President has dared them to come up with a motion.
I don't know who is them. When the Deputy President dares them, I'm left wondering who exactly is them. But then my honest estimation would be that as a country, having just come from a very heated Gen Z uprising, where the young people and Kenyans at large were generally asking for accountability and asking for a better way to be governed and just asking that the country needs to move towards a better direction. I think it's quite a wrong time for us to start having a political, like people measuring each other now politically. I think it's not the right time for us to have those kind of political shows right now. I think it's time for governance. It's time where all hands must be able to come on deck. And I think pulling the country into a political direction and people starting to try and see who has better political muscle than the other is not the right place for us to be as a country. For me, I was able to see it was highly publicized. The Deputy President will be speaking to all the Mount Kenya TV and radio stations. But then for me, I'm like, when the Deputy President is talking about some of the people targeting his office, and I saw him even talk about a case where one of his officers was near abducted or something like that. My question is, this is the Deputy President whom I see with the President when the President is coming to name cabinet secretaries. It's not like the Deputy President and the President have been away from this country. We see them together. The President, actually there are always three. The President, the Deputy President, and the Prime Cabinet Secretary. So I want to believe that those are things the Deputy President can actually ask the President directly. They don't need to really come to us, the public, because we will read into everything. Because we are also a highly political country. So we read into so many things. There is a reason why there is a cabinet meeting. There is a reason why there are management meetings. There are reasons why we who come to KBC would be able to come on this panel, but not in your management meeting. It's because we don't need to know what happens on the background of that. All we need to see, and all the viewer needs to see, is that KBC should be able to deliver a perfect good morning show to them. So for me, I think the Deputy President is still a member of the Security Council. The Deputy President is still having his job description, and actually he was the first Deputy President to have his job outlined and gazetted. Unlike what it is in the Constitution, where it simply says you do what the President apportions you to do. He was actually given a responsibility. He has coffee to deal with. He has tea to deal with. He has a lot in his entry. So for me, I think taking the country to a political direction is not one of the best things that we need in this country. For right now, what the Deputy President will be concentrating on is delivery for the public, is ensuring that the demands of the Gen Zs, the accountability that the Gen Zs were able to demand for, that is what all hands in government today, that is what they should be helping the president to achieve, and not pulling to political directions and trying to see who can be able to muscle better political weight than the other. And even to the other people who are instigating a lot of talks about impeachment and all that, I think it is not the right time as a country for us to have those kind of conversations. Impeachment or not, for the common Kenyan, what they want is service delivery. What they want is the JSS teachers. We would be talking about how the JSS teachers are being employed. We would be talking about the intern doctors and what needs to be done. We would be talking about what would be the intake to the army and the police this year. Those are the conversations that Kenyans want to have. We have a crisis of unemployment in this country. That is what we should be focusing on. Whether we are going to talk about Mount Kenya or which other region and everyone looking like they want to be a kingpin of wherever, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, in fact, the more populated you are, the more the unemployed people you have. So you should be talking about how are you going to provide jobs for your people? How are you going to ensure that service delivery gets to your people? How are you going to ensure that everything that the people have complained about, the governance systems and all that, how are you ensuring that that gets to us? It's not the right time for us to be pulled to a political direction. I think it's rather unfortunate.
Exactly. What do you think of that headline where, because even the site speaking the same, DP removal plot picks up as Ruto, Raila close ranks. What do you think of that? And given that the deputy president has seemingly faced opposition from his backyard, from some leaders from his backyard?
As a political analyst, and somebody who has been in politics, politics is part of life. Politics is everywhere, from our businesses to our homes. It's everywhere. And people talk, and people, because politics affects everything we do, our businesses, our jobs. What is happening in Kenya today is happening all over the world. There is that we need this, just as you are saying that we need jobs, we need our businesses to work, we need money, and the money doesn't just grow. There must be a good environment for that to happen. Now, Kenya is already on a campaign mood, and it's not only the deputy president who seems to be campaigning. It's like even the president is campaigning. Everybody is campaigning. There is a change of, there is a change of what is happening. Everything seems like it is. We are talking politics. We are talking of alignment. Everything is seeming to be towards that. The GNC has made us start rethinking, and the fear is gone. People are not sitting to get anointed just in their homes. They are coming out to speak loud and clear. And this one you can't, wish it away, because it has to go on and on and on. The only thing which I'm feeling bad about is that there is nobody listening. Listening part of it is like it has kind of been thrown through the window. Because if there was listening, we wouldn't be talking of tribes, of where we come from, of what is happening. We would be talking, what are these people wanting? What does the business community want right now? What are the young people asking? Where are these jobs coming if there are no industries which are being established? Where do you get jobs? How does the country get money? Taxation can't make a country run, because you tax what there is. If there isn't anything, you can't give somebody food if you don't have it. You must have that money for you to give. So when the country, the president is put in a corner and he is going to do 1, 2, 3, surely, you must give him a bit of time to rethink this thing, change, and he has also to listen. I was watching something yesterday. A young person was talking to the president and saying, we are educated, we are bright, we can work. Why are you putting them back, the old people, in places when you are changing the cabinet? We shouldn't be having younger people, not people who have been there 30, 40 years. That is a very genuine request, isn't it? Because we want to change, and change is not just changing people, it's changing even the generations. So that this generation has done their part.
Let another generation come in, and they are there. So to me, politics has to go on, but we must direct that politics in a positive way, not in a tribal way. There are only two tribes in Kenya, those who have and those who don't have.
So this talk about Deputy President removal is ill-timed, according to you?
It is really ill-timed. It's the wrong time. We shouldn't be having I never expected this to happen, especially between the two people, the president and the deputy president. And it's high time they stopped it, because it's going to affect everything else we have been doing in this country.
Mr. Murphy, I want you to come in on this, because the other day we saw even Kalonzo Musyoka wade into this discussion. What does it speak in the political alignments coming to 2027?
Thank you. We saw Kalonzo coming and saying he would defend, or his team would defend any attempt of impeachment of the deputy president. Just like my sister said, it's the issue of the country being in a political mood and realignments, because when Kalonzo came in, that meant that the hidden message is that even if you are impeached, even if anything happens to you on that side, I'm ready to come and embrace you. I'm ready to come so that we join hands and maybe form a team. It goes even beyond Kalonzo. It goes even to the Western, the Tower movement of the governor of Trans Nzoia. What does this mean? This means that the political alignments for 2027 have already started cooking. And this is not good for the country, because we should not, after elections, we should go to work, put good environment for businesses, for work, for everything, and campaign time or politicking time will come. But the impeachment of Gachagua, the talk of the impeachment is political. These people coming saying they are defending him, it's a sign of let's join hands. Also, going slightly back to where we have come from, look at the appointment of this cabinet.
Actually, that is what I was coming to.
Was it meant to come and bring change into the economic states of the country, or it was coming to solve a political issue? My view is that it was more political than that is why you see those who are brought in, we were weighing them more on their political muscle, or what can they bring. Look at Nyanza getting 2. What does that mean? You people, if you can bring your voting block into the basket, it gives more weight. Look at going to the and then the next question in this Nyanza, who can bring, because you can pick somebody from Nyanza and then it doesn't bring the necessary weight. Who can bring this weight? They are the lighted people of the opposition leader. This is the chairman of the party. This is the minority leader. So it's more political than what can he do. I don't doubt their capabilities, but it was more of political. Look at the coast. This is somebody who has been a governor. So that means he has a foreign. Look at what happened immediately after he was mentioned. When the president went there, there was the cheers at our man. So it is more of what is he bringing on the political side, but not what is he coming to do to improve the. Look at also in Nyanza, This is somebody who has also been a governor twice. Yes. This is a force that has pushed the ODM wing of Western. Yes. This is Opalanya is the person who has been the flag bearer of ODM. Yes. And remember, ODM has given the parties which include from the region. This one of Moses Kuria and this one of Mudavadi. They have gotten quite a good competition from ODM, simply being pushed by Oparanya. So it was, are we getting somebody from that region who come and try to improve the economy of the Republic, try to assist the president on the request of Gen Z, try to come and bring maybe jobs opportunity, try to come and improve our international relationship, try to come and bring more jobs from outside to come in, more investors. All, it is somebody who will bring more weight politically. So politics is messiness.
Mudalo, do you agree with what he says that the appointments have some level of political inclination, and given that the political formation of 2027 are in a way coming to the fore?
You must be able to look at it from what is the name of the appointments. They are called political appointments. Yes. Cabinet secretaries are political appointments.
Yes.
It cannot be a political appointment without a political undertone, without a political inclination.
Yeah.
And remember, everything in any country and any society, before you solve any problem, you must solve the political problem. So it is not wrong for the president to make political appointments politically. If anything, that is what they are even called. And we must also agree that the political problem in Kenya always tries to supersede every other problem. So until you are able to get the politics correct, you cannot get the economics correct. You cannot be able to get any other thing correct, because it doesn't matter, because we are in a country where it doesn't matter how well the economy is running. If a section of the country believes that that is not their government, you're not going to change their mind.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And that's why you are able to see that in the previous cabinet, we still had some people from Nyanza. We still had Eliud Owalo as a cabinet secretary. But when you have John Mbadi, then the community and the entire Nyanza region feels like now we are part and parcel of the government. And that is the reality. So for me, it was okay for the president to solve a political problem, because we were able to see the celebrations in Coast, despite the fact that they still had Aisha Juma. But when you put Ali Hassan Joho, there is actually a real feeling on the ground that now we are part and parcel of this government. When you are able to have Honorable John Mbadi, Honorable Pio Wandai, then you are able to say Nyanza region is able to feel like, yes, we are now part and parcel of this government. So it's true that those positions will always be political appointments. And the president will also have to remember that he gets into office politically. The president is not appointed to office. He gets into office politically. And therefore, he must secure his politics. He must secure his re-election bid. Yes. So it is a reality that we have to live with. And for me, it is neither here nor there. What we need to ensure happens is that there is delivery, that there is service delivery, that the appointments will always be political. There will always be that political undertone. There will always be a way that the president must be able to look at what is the political future. Just yesterday, we were able to see the merger of ANC and UDA. That is politics, to secure the political future. You cannot be, some would say it's a wrong thing to do, but that is the nature of how governments are actually formed. Yes. So, for me, it is the reality, and there's nothing wrong about it. Yes. What matters is that for as long as the political problem has now been solved, we must quickly move into now the governance problem, the economic problem, so that at the end of the day, you are able to move society in the right direction. Otherwise, if you don't solve the political problem, you cannot be able to solve any of the other problems, because there will always be questions about what is our stake and all that.
So they are both intertwined?
They are actually intertwined. They are actually Siamese twins. They are at the hip.
Yes.
You must be able to solve the political problem.
Yes.
If you do not solve the political problem, there's nothing else that you can be able to do. So for me, it's actually a right thing that and you're able to see, we've been here, all of us are in this country. And after the president making those appointments, we must all agree that there has been a bit of calm in the Republic. Yeah, there has been a bit of calm. There has been a general feeling like now everything is okay. So, and that is you see, there is a difference between a political reality and what would be our personal feel.
Yes.
Because you would be able to feel like things are not still heading the right direction.
Yeah.
There is still the talk about nane. There is still the talk of that.
Yeah.
But can you be able to compare? For instance, we have had demonstrations post the appointment, vis-a-vis the demonstrations before. You can be able to feel the weight.
Yes.
So that is actually the reality. And most of the politicians working today, and you alluded to what Honorable Kalonzo has been doing, in my view, and I have a lot of respect for Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka as a person, but I do not really subscribe to his politics, because for me, it's basically the politics of trying to up your bargain. Yeah, because there is nothing so much about the people right now. This Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, who at the heart of post-election violence, he joined President Kibaki and became vice president at the heart of a post-election violence. What is this that has changed today that we are now feeling like Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka is now pro the people completely? For me, it's just a bargain. It's just an uplift of a bargain.
Let Mwathi respond to that.
I agree partly with my brother that these appointments are political appointments. True. But political appointments to do what? We go back to the 2010 Constitution.
Yes.
Why are those who developed the 2010 Constitution, why did they divorce or remove the executive or the ministers or from being appointed in Parliament? Because they wanted these appointments, irrespective of the fact that they are political, they want them to be more of technocrats. They wanted them to be apolitical, not inclined towards any, so that they can perform well. Yes. Because when you perform, when you have a political inclination, you definitely mess it up. I've repeated a statement in this studio before, and I'll still repeat it. What the current president said when he was the deputy president when they were elected. He said, this cabinet will have, the cabinet that we were going to form then will have only 2 politicians. Those were his ones. Me and the president. The others, we don't want even to know whether they voted for us or not. We don't even want to know the political parties they came from. And that was the intention of the 2010 Constitution. That's why he said instead of restricting the president to get the cabinet, to get his cabinet from the Parliament, we opened the doors so that he can get his appointments from the entire public. To get the best from the 50+ million people.
Yes. I'm told we are running out of time. I want you to respond in a few seconds.
Thank you very much. I just have just listened and I'm like, Kenya is not only Kenya, all the whole world is political. Nothing you can do without politics. So whatever we say, politics must be at the center of it. Okay. Now, just may say something about Kalonzo. I can defend Kalonzo here because Kalonzo is not against what is happening. It is the way it is happening. Because when somebody says that I want peace, and if we go this direction, we are going to get into war, don't make that person to feel weak. He's not weak. And what he did then and what is being done, is it not the same thing?
Okay, finish that point because I'm told. We are completely out of time.
Yes. So what Kalonzo is doing is not supporting the deputy president.
Yes.
He is supporting a process.
Yes.
As he says, the constitution must be followed.
Yes.
The 2010 constitution has broken so many things.
Yes.
The two-third for women, for gender, is not there.
Yes.
So there's a lot which we can talk about this constitution which has not been implemented.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For the interest of time, I'm told we are going to cut this conversation.
Sorry.
But thank you so much. So much, because it's just only getting started. But thank you for making time to come on Good Morning Kenya and talk about what is happening. That is Advice Mundalo, who is a communication specialist, and Ireri Mwathi, who is a political analyst, and Winnie Kaburu, a political analyst, also joining us here on People and Politics. This is where we cap this conversation, but don't go too far. We are crossing over to radio side, where Dora Manya is having another conversation on matters governance. Keep it KBC Channel 1.
In 11 Olympics, the U.S. has lost this relay.
Are you a talented artist, or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with our music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
I never heard the music so sweet. I repeat.
Wagwan, me brethren, big things are going. Remember, each and every Monday we have to shell down the place with nothing but the best of smooth way the vibes in your favorite station. You know these things, man.
Alafu kila Tuesday, kata simu tupo side, giving you Kenyan music from the 254.
And of course, you can spice up your Wednesday by enjoying blazing hot hip-hop and R&B jams.
We don't got no label. She says she want bottles.
Vibes and vibes as we go all across Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, all the way to Tanzania to give you nothing but the best on Afro Thursday. Make sure you make a date with us each and every single Friday with me, DJ_Liza Diva,
DJ Colda,
and me, Wanjiko. This is Club One Extra.
Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa. Hadija ai, money especially ukisonga.
1
We travel about 400 kilometers from Kenya's capital Nairobi to Taita Taveta County, deep into the famous Tsavo West National Park for a scheduled meeting with a military veteran. One of the reasons why I'm so passionate about military tales is that I get to travel a lot, meet people of diverse cultures and backgrounds. Right now we are in Mwatate in Taita Taveta County. Actually, Tsavo West is a few kilometers from where we are standing. And we're here to meet one military veteran by the name of Lieutenant Colonel Aggrey Mwambi. His story is very interesting and very inspirational to young serving officers. He started as a private and rose the ranks to become a commissioned officer. We are here to file his story. He's been waiting for us. So let's go. Aggrey Mwambi was born over 60 years ago in Orengo, Nyeri County.
Cha Gumzo Pevu kuweza kuangazia masuala mbalimbali ambayo yanatuhusu kama taifa. Na basi juma hili kuna mengi tu ambayo yametendeka, na pia juma lililopita na yapata miezi michache iliyopita, na tunaenda kuangazia siasa za uchumi wa kitaifa. Na kukaribisha tukaandamane kwa pamoja sako kwa bako hadi tutakapotamatisha majadiliano hayo. Msikilizaji, na ni kwamba shughuli ya bunge ya kuwapiga msasa mawaziri wateule ilikamilika siku ya Jumapili, na hapo jana siku ya Jumatatu Rais Daktari William Ruto alitia sahihi mswada wa matumizi ya ziada ya fedha mwaka 2024, yani Supplementary Appropriations Bill mwaka 2024. Hatua hizi zote ni katika kutafuta mikakati ya kuinua uchumi wa taifa. Masuala ya kudorora kwa uchumi bila shaka yalikuwa chanzo cha maandamano ya vijana wa Gen Z wiki chache zilizopita. Na kwenye mswada huu uliotiwa saini hiyo jana, matumizi ya serikali ya kitaifa yalipunguzwa kwa takriban shilingi bilioni 145, ikiwemo shilingi bilioni 40 kwa mishahara na marupurupu na shilingi bilioni 105 kwa maendeleo. Kumbuka mtazamaji na msikilizaji kwamba mshahara ama mswada wa fedha wa mwaka 2024 uliokuwa na mapendekezo ya fedha hizi ulitupiliwa mbali na Rais William Ruto mwezi uliopita baada ya maandamano ya Gen Z. Na je, baada ya Rais William Ruto kuunda serikali ya umoja wa kitaifa, uchumi umeimarika ama utaimarika? Kumbuka baadhi ya wanasiasa wa chama cha ODM waliteuliwa kwenye baraza la mawaziri, na bunge tayari limewapiga msasa mawaziri wateule, na ikiwa watapitisha ama watapitishwa na bunge la kitaifa, baraza hili la mawaziri litaanza kufanya kazi. Bila shaka swala kuu kwa jumla ni uimarishaji wa uchumi wa hapa nchini. Na basi studioni hii leo kuangazia masuala haya si mwingine bali niko na mwanasiasa ambaye tayari amewasili, na pia tunamsubiri mchanganuzi wa masuala ya kisiasa. Lakini kwa sasa Dr. Alex Maina Kamau ni mwana uchumi ambaye tumefika na tuko na studioni kuweza kutusaidia kuelewa uchumi na siasa za Kenya. Zungumza nasi kwa mitandao yetu ya kijamii, na kama kawaida mimi naitwa Dora Manya, upande wa pili wa studio zetu ni Rashid Mwamkondo. Karibu sana Dr. Alex Kamau.
Asante sana Dora kwa mwaliko.
Uko mzima?
Niko mzima kabisa. Ndio.
Tuko hapa kuangazia masuala ya uchumi na siasa, na kumekuwa na maandamano yapata wiki kadhaa ya vijana waitwa Gen Z. Labda baadhi ya masuala gani ya kiuchumi ambayo unaweza kusema yalipelekea vijana hao kuandamana, ambayo yaliashiria kwamba kuna kudorora kwa uchumi?
Kweli sana Dora. Ile jambo kubwa sana ilifanyikia vijana wa Gen Z waende kuandamana kwa barabara ni kwa sababu ya ukosaji wa ajira. Kama tunavyojua Kenya, wastani wa rika wa oromiaka, the average age of the population of Kenya ni miaka 20. Na wengi wa hawa vijana wamesoma, wamehitimu, wako na shahada, lakini hakuna ajira. Na kwa nini hakuna ajira? Ajira ni kwa sababu hakuna, kwa sababu serikali imekuwa ikimanajiwa vibaya sana, na nasema hivyo kwa sababu tumekuwa na ile tabia ya kukopa sana, na ile wakati tunakopa inabidi tunatumia pesa mingi sana kulipa hizo deni, na hapo ndio inafanyikia Wakenya wanakosa hiyo ajira, na ndio maana vijana wakatokea kwa barabara ile kutoa hasira zao.
Yes. Na wewe kama mwana uchumi kwa sasa, kabla hata tuangazie masuala ya baraza la mawaziri, uchumi wetu uko vipi labda baada ya wao kuandamana? Je, tunaweza kusema kwamba sasa tumefika mahali tunaendelea vizuri? Manake kwa siku kadhaa tujaona maandamano. Hali iko vipi kwa sasa?
Uchumi uko hali mahututi, na sioni kama tutatoka kwa hiyo hali kwa wakati wa hapa karibuni. Ni kwa sababu ile kama muswada wa fedha wa 2024 uliangushwa. Pia tuliona ile inaitwa Finance Act 2023 pia iliangushwa, na serikali inabidi irejelee kutumia ile Finance Act 2022, na hiyo inafanya serikali ikuwe na ugumu zaidi wa kuchukua ile kitu inaitwa ushuru, na bila serikali kuchukua ushuru wa kutosha then haiwezi haiwezi endeleza ile bajeti yake venye ilikuwa inastahili. Nasema uchumi kwa mahali pabaya kabisa, kwa sababu tunaona kama mwaka uliopita, hii 2023 yenye hii mwaka ya kifedha yenye iliisha June 2024, hiyo mwaka wenye ulianza July 2023 ukaisha June 2024, tulitumia takribani bilioni 350 bilioni 350 kwa ile bajeti ya development, na pesa mingi tukatumia kutoka kitu kama 3.5 trillion tulitumia kwa recurrent expenditure. So ile wakati yenye development budget umepunguza sana, inamaanisha hiyo nchi haikui, because development budget ndio tunatengeneza zile vitu zinaitwa miundo misingi, tunatengeneza barabara, tunatengeneza ile nguvu za umeme, tunatengeneza kama ni dam, kama ni bridges and all that, na hizo ndizo zinafanyanga uchumi naendelea mbele. Hii mwaka tunaona ile hata hii budget ya development imepunguzwa zaidi, na tunaendelea tumia pesa mingi sana kwa recurrent expenditure, na ndio naona, na mimi nasema uchumi inaonekana itaendelea kudorora. Hiyo ndio sasa changamoto iko, na hiyo ndio kitu inatuweka huzuni zaidi.
Uchumi ambao tunalia kwamba huko vizuri, unasema bado itaendelea kudorora. Itaendelea kudorora
kwa sababu kama saa hii venye serikali inaendelea kukopa pesa zaidi kutoka kwa from the local, internally, because ile kabla hii mswada wa 2024 wa kifedha uanguke, tulikuwa tumesema tutakopa 331 billion externally na tutakopa 277 billion internally, lakini after hii mswada wa kifedha kuanguka, na ikakuwa serikali haitaweza kupata 3 ilikuwa inaangazia kutoka kupitisha kwa hiyo mswada, serikali na jambo mbili ikasema hii 346 billion tulikuwa tunaangazia kupata kutoka hiyo Finance Act 2024, tutafanya hivi, hii 346 tutapunguza, because 346 ni pande ya revenue. Hiyo budget iko pande mbili, iko pande ya revenue na pande ya expenditure. Already imeteremka na 3 imeteremka 40 uondoe 177 billion, because hiyo ndio tulisema, na ndio maana tulikuwa tuko na supplementary budget. Supplementary budget ilikuwa inaangazia kupunguza ile budget ya kwanza yenye ilikuwa 3.9 trillion ipunguzwe na 177 billion. Lakini ujue tunaipunguza na 177 billion, but pande ya ya ushuru ya revenue imepungua na 346 billion.
Ndiyo.
So tulikuwa pia tunafaa tupunguze hii budget yetu na 346 billion. But tukasema tutapunguza na 346 billion, tutapunguza na 177. So hii ingine tofauti tutaitoa wapi? Because 346 billion ukiondoa 177 billion tunabaki na 169 billion.
Ndiyo.
Serikali ikasema tutakopa zaidi. Na ndio maana siku moja rais akiongea alisema mmeangusha hii finance, hii mswada chenye tutafanya sasa tutakopa trilioni 1. So hiyo ndio nasema hii 169 billion yenye serikali ilisema itakopa zaidi, tunakopa locally. Na sasa hivi venye tunapoongea ile inaitwa interest rate iko at 18%. Hivyo ndivyo serikali inakopeshwa na wananchi at 18%. Mimi nikuulize hivi Dora. Saa hii ukiwekeza pesa yako na Safaricom ama Equity ama KCB, kama hii uwekezaji wa inaitwa shares, inaitwa ukiwekeza na shares inakulipa at a rate of 10%. Na hao ni watu wako kwa biashara. Safaricom tunaona inauza services, lakini ukiwekeza kwa serikali na kulipa na 18%. Kwani serikali inafanya kazi gani, biashara gani ndio iweze kulipa zaidi kushinda hata wale watu zile shirika zenye
kwa money markets zinafaidi?
Serikali ndio inafanya ile kitu inaitwa, mimi naweza sema ni kama hii kitu inaitwa hii uwekezaji wa hewa, kwa sababu unakumbuka kama ile yenye ilikuwa inaitwa kama ya DESI yenye pyramid scheme yenye inafanyanga Dora, inakuja inaambia watu kadhaa nilipatieni pesa nitamulipa na return ya 10%. Kwa sababu hii pyramid scheme hakuna kazi inafanya ile kuzalisha hiyo pesa, inaendelea kufanya marketing, inaleta group ingine ya watu, inawaambia wa kwanza walikuwa inawalipa na 10%, inaleta wengine na 12%, ikipokea pesa kwa hawa wa 12% inalipa wale wa 10%. Ndio tena ikifika wakati wa kulipa hawa wa 12% inatafuta wengine wa kuwalipa na 14%. So serikali ile wakati Uhuru alikuwa anaondoka, the rate ya treasury bill ile yenye tulikuwa tunalipa watu wenye wamewekeza kwa serikali na treasury bill walikuwa nalipwa na 11%. Sasa as we speak wanalipwa na 18%. Na serikali unasikia inahitaji kuendelea kukopa zaidi hapa locally. Sasa tutaona treasury bills tukianza kuwalipa na 20%. Na serikali unajua hakuna mahali inatengeneza pesa.
Kwa hivyo atuendelee vizuri kiuchumi.
Atuendelee vizuri.
Naam. Na kwa sababu tumeangazia na tumeingia tayari katika masuala ya uchumi, tunaona kwamba hapo jana Rais Daktari William Ruto alitia sahihi ile tunaita supplementary appropriations bill ya mwaka 2024, na kumbuka ilikuwa imepitishwa na bunge pale Julai 31. Na labda kwa Mkenya wa kawaida ina maana gani? Maana kuna mambo fulani yanajitokeza katika ile bill. Kwa mfano tumeona kwamba kuna baadhi ya idara ambazo tunasema kwamba zimeweza kuathirika, kupunguziwa mgao, kama vile tukiona afisi ya rais, tumeona pia bunge, tumeona pia judiciary kwa mfano kupoteza 2.1 billion, tumeona pia State House, afisi ya deputy president, national treasury, wote kupunguziwa kama 7 billion, na kuna medical services 6.9 billion, road and transport projects 17.3 billion. Yani orodha fupi tu. Inamaanisha nini kwa Mkenya huu mswada ambao rais aliweza kutia saini hiyo jana?
Inamaanisha, mimi niseme kwa ile 177 billion yenye serikali ilikuwa inataka kupunguza budget nayo, tuachane na ile 169 ilisema itakopa zaidi, ndio iweze kusema 177 plus 169 turudi pale kwa 346. Kwa hii 177 billion waliondoa 20 billion za pesa zenye zilikuwa zinafaa kwenda kwa counties, because rais President Ruto alisema pia county ile budget walikuwa wamepatiwa pia itapunguzwa. So national government ilipunguzwa na 154 billion, nayo ile inaitwa county governments ikapunguziwa na 20 billion. Kwa hii 154 billion recurrent expenditure iliondolewa peke yake 31 billion. Hii ingine 123 billion iliondolewa kwa development expenditure. Na mimi niseme hivi, hakuna venye nchi inaweza endelea kama haifanyi investment kwa development expenditure. Because ni kama mimi nikuwe niko na mshahara kidogo ama mingi ya 50,000. Kwa sababu hii mshahara ndio niweze kupata pato kubwa, nafaa nikipata hii 50,000 kama 20,000 nawekeza mahali. Ndio kama ni biashara kidogo, kama nitaweza kununua motorbike, inaniletea mwisho wa mwezi napata kitu kama 10,000 kutoka hiyo biashara ya motorbike. Inaweza kuniongezea kwa hii 50,000 yenye napata penye nimeandikwa. Lakini nisipowekeza hii 50,000 ndio naendelea kupata because sijawekeza. Na serikali inawekezanga kivipi? Serikali inawekezanga na kuweka pesa kwa development budget. Okay. Sasa serikali haiwekezi. Sasa inaendelea hii 50,000 yenye serikali inapata ama napata, naendelea kutumia kufanya nini? Kukula, kulipa nyumba penye nakaa, na nyumba hii hata nikilipa miaka ngapi haitakuwa yangu. So nitabaki pale pale. Na hiyo ndio saa mimi niko na changamoto kubwa sana. Naona kuna giza kubwa sana mbele yetu. Kuna giza kubwa sana mbele yetu kwa sababu hata yule mkulima wa kawaida ama mfanyabiashara wa kawaida akienda sahi kwa bank, anaitishwa, anaambiwa ndio tukukopesha pesa utalipa na ile inaitwa interest rate ya 22%. Ni biashara gani sahi Dora utawekeza wewe ikuwe na kupatia interest rate ama rate of return zaidi ya umekopa nayo?
Unasema mambo yataendelea kuwa magumu. Labda mwananchi angependa kuelewa katika lugha rahisi. Sasa mswada huu unamwathiri kivipi? Maanake baada ya mswada wa fedha mwaka 2024 kufeli, rais kosa kuweka pia ama kuidhinisha, na baadaye kurejesha kwenye bunge kapiga kura basi kuondoa ile ama vile vipengee vyote katika ule mswada, na sasa akatia saini mswada ambao tunasema ni wa mswada wa ukadiriaji wa fedha. Inamaanisha kwamba Mkenya ataendelea kupata huduma kama kawaida ama zipo huduma ambazo zitaathirika? Manake kuna yule ambaye anajiuliza, okay, tuliangusha finance bill na ilikuwa itusaidie labda kupata pesa za kushughulikia bajeti, japo bajeti yenyewe ilikuwa na nakisi. So inamaanishaje kwa Mkenya sasa? Tuko safe kwamba rais ametia sahihi, shughuli za maendeleo zitaendelea kama kawaida, ama sasa kuna zile ambazo tutasema kwamba zitakwama?
Shughuli mingi mimi niseme zitakwama. Jambo la kwanza, kuna hii kitu inaitwa pending bills. Pending bills kufikia wakati huu ziko kama 800 billion. Hizi ni pesa zenye serikali kuu na ile ya ugatuzi they owe wafanyi biashara wadogo, 800 billion. Na tukitoka ile mwaka yenye tumefunga juzi ya 2023-2024, kulikuwa na carry overs. Kuna pesa zenye serikali kuu haikuwa imeweza kulipa madeni zake kwa sababu ilikuwa bado na hiyo changamoto ya kuokota ushuru na kupata pia pesa za deni. Kwa hivyo pending bill itaendelea kuongezeka. Na sasa venye sahi hata tumepunguza bajeti, tumepunguza ile from 3.9 tumekuja hiyo 346 billion haipatikani. Na hiyo pesa ilikuwa ishapangiwa. Kuna projects already zilikuwa zimeanza kufanyishwa kazi ama zimekuwa commissioned, na sasa budget imepunguzwa, so pending bill itaendelea kuwa kubwa. Tukuje kwa hii kitu inaitwa commission of revenue allocation. Kama mwaka jana walikuwa wamepatiana target that the local government, county governments zinafaa collect own source revenue ya 56 billion. Hizo own source revenue badala ya kupata 56 billion walipata 37 billion. So kuna hiyo inaitwa hiyo gap, kuna hiyo deficit. Na hii mwaka bado kutakuwa na hiyo deficit because serikali bado haijalan the hard way. Because mimi nasemanga ile mawazo yenye ilikupeleka kwa shida haiwezi kuwa bado ni hiyo mawazo itakutoa kwa hiyo shida. Mimi naona tuko kwa shimo tayari ya kiuchumi, na badala ya tujue venye tutatoka, tunaendelea kuchimba zaidi. Tunachimba namna gani zaidi? Ni kwa sababu tunaendelea kuweka target zenye ziko ni realistic. Kama hii mwaka tulianza hii ya 2024-2025, tulikuwa tunasema tunatarajia kuokota ushuru ya 2.9 trillion. Ili hali hii mwaka yenye imeisha 2023-2024
hatukuwa tumetimiza pia hata ile target.
Tulipata 2.2 trillion, 2.2. So kulikuwa na hiyo deficit ya 700 billion. Na niseme hii serikali ya Rais Ruto, mimi penye naona iko na kasoro ni ile kuwa na haraka sana. na inasemekananga ukitaka kwenda mbali andamana na watu, but ukitaka kwenda kasi sana enda peke yako.
Haraka ya kutekeleza miradi ya haraka ya
ile wako na mbio sana. Niseme kwa nini nasema hii serikali iko na mbio, ni kwa sababu ile wakati Rais Kibaki akichukua mamlaka, bajeti yenye ilikuwa inaitwa revenue collection yenye Moi alikuwa anafanya that 2002 ilikuwa 250 billion. Ilichukua Kibaki miaka 10 kutoka 250 billion kufika 1 trillion. Miaka 10. Ilichukua tena Uhuru Kenyatta kutoka 1 trillion kukuja 2 trillion miaka ingine 10. Lakini Rais Ruto amesema tutoke 2 trillion to 2.9 trillion which is 3 trillion within 1 year. Hiyo haraka ndio imefanya miswada yote yenye serikali ya Ruto imepitisha imeangushwa. Mswada wa 2023 uliangushwa, mswada wa 2024 uliangushwa. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu wanataka kwenda kasi zaidi, lakini wakienda hiyo kasi wanaacha watu nyuma. Na watu ukiwacha watu nyuma lazima watakuvuruta nyuma.
Kwa hivyo wakipunguza spidi kidogo wataweza kutekeleza miradi mbalimbali.
Tutaweza kuandamana na wananchi watafurahia. Kwa sababu mimi sasa inaweza sema giza iko. Senye inaitwa private sector imekandamizwa. Ati ukienda kukopa pesa saa hii hata ile na ujue kitu ingine, juzi ya watu wanaitwa credit rating agencies, huyu anaitwa Moody, ametupunguzia ile kiwango ya credit rating yetu. Na hiyo inamaanishaje? Itakuwa na changamoto kubwa sana kwa Kenya kurudi tena kwa ile soko inaitwa international market, kuchukua kitu kama Eurobond. Tukirudi huko itakuwa more expensive. Na mimi niseme hivi Dora, kidogo tunapelekwa na hatupelekwi vizuri, kwa sababu juzi ile tumeenda tukachukua Eurobond, tulichukua na rate ya 10.5%. Ili hali uchumi zingine zenye ni baya zaidi kutushinda kama Ivory Coast na Benin walienda kwa soko ya international market at the same time na wakapatiwa na 8%. Mimi nashangaa ni watu wagani wale wanaenda kule chini kutufanyia negotiation ya hizo loans. Because zile uchumi zenye hata ziko baya zaidi kushinda sisi wanapatiwa at favorable rates.
Kwa hivyo interest rates zetu zinakuwa ziko juu sana. Labda suluhu ni lipi tu kwa dakika moja? Suluhu ni lipi basi la kuhakikisha kwamba uchumi unarejea mahali ambapo unafaa kuwa na pia kuwa bora zaidi kuliko ilivyo kwa sasa? Ikizingatiwa madeni ambayo umeyataja, ikizingatiwa pia viwango vya ukopaji mariba ambayo pia tunatumia kukopa pesa kutoka nje, ikizingatiwa pia expenditures ambazo tunazungumzia hizo recurrent na kadhalika. Labda suluhu zitakuwa ni gani kuhakikisha kwamba uchumi wetu unaimarika na unaweza kustawi katika njia ambayo inafaa?
Kwa kiufupi mimi ningesema ni tuache kuangazia ile, pia rais amekuanga akisema tax to GDP ratio itoke 14% iende 22%. Hata ikafika hata 50% na bado ile kiki yenye tuko nayo inatoshana na berry, bado tutaendelea kuumia. Ningesema serikali iangazie kupika keki kubwa inatoshana maybe na watermelon toke kwa berry. Ndio hata kama tumerefusha keki na serikali inapata only 5% ya hiyo keki kubwa, hiyo 5% itakuwa ya kutosha ya kufanya serikali iweze kufinance budget yake. Lakini tukisema tutoke 14% twende 22%, hata twende 100% serikali ipatiwe berry mzima, bado itakuwa tunaumia kiuchumi.
Na labda kabla tuingilie katika swala lingine, tuangalie tu katika ule mswada ambao pia rais alitia saini. Tumesema mswada wa ukadiriaji wa fedha mwaka 2024, na tunaona kulikuwa na allocations ama kuna idara fulani ambazo pia zilipewa hela na zilitajwa, labda sijui kama gani utaweza kusema imefaidi zaidi. Kwa mfano tulikuwa tunaangalia katika masuala ya ruzuku ya mbolea, wamepewa ni 7, alafu vile masuala ya kufutilia mbali madeni ya wakulima kama kahawa zaidi ya shilingi bilioni 2, alafu pia kule katika kusupport wakulima wale wa miwa shilingi bilioni 0.7 na sekta zingine mbalimbali tu. Na pia tumeona katika ule mgao pia iliweza kutaja masuala ama imetajwa masuala ya wale walimu ambao tunasema ni JSS intern teachers ambao pia sasa wataweza kuidhinishwa ama kuandikwa rasmi, na vile katika tunasema kandarasi za kudumu kwa kima cha shilingi bilioni 18.7, na tumeona pia masuala ya mikopo ile help loan katika shilingi bilioni 31.3, na mambo ya university funding model pia imeangaziwa sana. Tuliona pia sekta ya afya, na kuna mambo mbalimbali tu, labda nitaje moja tu kwa sekta ya afya, ambapo pia tunaona wale katika medical internship program shilingi bilioni 3.7. Katika hayo tukiweka pamoja, unaweza kusema katika mswada huu wa ukadiriaji wa fedha ni sekta ipi ambayo imefaidi sana?
Venye umesema vizuri Dora, hizo sekta ni kweli zimefaidi. Kama tukianzia kama hiyo ruzuku ya mbolea, hiyo ni kitu mzuri sana, because ukitaka kuimarisha uchumi wa Kenya, enda penye wakulima wako, because more than 60%, asilimia 60 ya Wakenya wako engaged in farming activities. So ukitaka kuweka pesa mfukoni, wenda wafanyie subsidy huko hiyo ruzuku ya mbolea. So mimi hapa naona ni kitu ya maana zaidi. Tukuje kwa hii intern teachers, again ni kitu ya muhimu zaidi, because mimi nasema hata hii budget ama hii allocation tunafanyanga kwa Ministry of Education actually haifai kuwa referred sana kama recurrent expenditure. Hiyo ni development expenditure, because development expenditure ni mahali popote ukiwekelea pesa, uko na matumaini hiyo pesa itazaa zaidi in future, because umeelimisha watoto wa Kenya, wamepata shahada, eventually baadaye wataweza kuwa na umuhimu zaidi, ile productivity yao itaongezeka na watachangia kukuza uchumi. So hizo na ile pia venye umesema madeni kadhaa zimeondolewa kwa wakulima wa kahawa, wakulima hawa wengine, hiyo ni kitu mzuri sana, ndio iweze kuencourage wakulima waendelee kutia bidii katika kazi zao.
Lakini licha hizo faida zote, utakuta kwa mfano kama sekta ya afya na vile katika barabara kwamba ipo baadhi ya miradi pale itaweza kusimama baada ya mambo hayo yote kutokea. Labda unaweza kusemaje itatuathiri kivipi kama taifa?
Ni kweli kama kuna sekta tatu zimeathiriwa kwa njia kubwa sana. Moja ni sekta ya elimu, because imetolewa bilioni 30 billion zimeondolewa kutoka kwa sekta ya education. Education initially ilikuwa na budget ya
wameondoa 30 billion, yes. Lakini ni wale tu tunasema walimu tu wale wa JSS ndio wamefaidi sasa.
Ndio wamefaidi. Kwa sababu kwa hiyo Ministry of Education iko na departments mingi. So kuna zile departments zimeondolewa na sasa kuna yenye imeongezewa pesa kidogo kama hiyo ya JSS. But kwa ujumla tumetoka kutoka kwa allocation ya 656 billion tukakuja kwa 2631 billion. Imetolewa pesa mingi. Same thing imefanyika kwa agriculture pia imeondolewa pesa, lakini because agriculture pia iko na departments mingi, but generally in overall agriculture imepunguziwa pesa, na hapo ndio sasa mimi naona ni changamoto, because agriculture ukitaka tunasemanga ukulima ndio uti wa mgongo wa taifa la Kenya. Huko mimi ungeniuliza ndiko tungeweka support ile kubwa sana, ndio hata productivity ya vijana na Wakenya kwa jumla iende juu sana. Ukisenye unasema watu wengi hawana ajira, na kukosa ajira ni changamoto kubwa sana yenye inafanya hata vijana waende kwa barabara, na sababu vijana pia agriculture inaweza wapatia ajira, lakini unless serikali pia immodernize the agriculture sector, ndio vijana waweze kuvutiwa na kilimo. Huwezi ambia kijana aende achukue jembe alime. Kijana nataka aone serikali pia imeinvest na imeleta different methods ya kufanya agriculture in a modernized way, ndio iweze pia kuwa attract. So mimi ningesema agriculture, it is one of the sector yenye tunapatianga budget kidogo sana.
Okay.
na kwa maoni hiyo ndio inafaa ipatiwe ile pesa mingi.
Mtazamaji na msikilizaji wa Radio Taifa, tunaendelea kupiga gumzo hapa, tunaangazia uchumi wa taifa, masuala mbalimbali tu. Kumbuka rais jana aliweka ama alitia saini mswada wa ukadiriaji wa fedha, ukipenda supplementary appropriations bill mwaka 2024, na tunajaribu kuchambua hilo kuona na maana gani kwako na masuala ya uchumi. Kwa hivyo kama una maswali, zidi kuyaweka kupitia pale katika mitandao yetu ya kijamii. Tubadili mkondo kidogo hapa studioni na mgeni wangu Dr. Alex Maina Kamau. Ndio bado tutazungumzia masuala ya uchumi. Tunaona sasa pia baraza la mawaziri ndio tunasubiria kuona itakuwa vipi. Bunge limekamilisha jukumu lake kupiga msasa siku ya Jumapili, na sasa kamati ile ya bunge tunaweza kusema imeretreat, imeenda kando kuandika ripoti. Kwa kwa ambao ulikuwa unafuatilia masuala yale, unaweza kusema kwamba bunge limetekeleza wajibu wake ipasavyo? Wapo wanaohisi kwamba walitaraji kungekuwa na ule ugumu, kwa Kiingereza wanasema fireworks.
Yes.
Nipe nikupe pale, maswali magumu na kadhalika. Wengine wanahisi kwamba kumekuwa ukitulia. Wewe unaona kwamba kamati ilitekeleza wajibu wake pasavyo?
Kuna kitu moja inafanya bunge ikose kuwa huru, na ni kitu moja mimi ningeomba iondolewe tukiendelea in the near future. Kitu inaitwa CDF. Because CDF ile wakati wowote serikali inataka wabunge wapitishe miswada ya serikali, inachezanga hapo kwa CDF. Kama CDF ile wakati tunaona budget zinapunguzwa ya CDF, initially ilikuwa 63 billion. After muswada wa fedha wa 2024 umeanguka, hii supplementary budget imepandisha CDF to 68 billion. Ni kwa sababu serikali pia ilikuwa inataka pia wabunge waweze kusaidia the national government, na ukitaka wabunge kuwashika vizuri ni pale kwa CDF. So
lakini sasa hapa hawakuwa wanapitisha miswada, walikuwa wanapiga msasa baraza la mawaziri.
Ni kweli, because unajua mmeambiwa fanyeni hivi ndio sisi tufanye hivi, so inakuwa ile uhuru inakuwa compromised. Mimi nasema hivi because hata kama wanaitwa ministers hawa CS, hata kama ni political appointees, mimi ningeomba kama ni mtu kama Professor Kindiki, wacha awekwe kwenye akona tajriba kubwa. Kama anaitwa profesa, angefaa zaidi labda akuwe kwa Ministry of Education. Mimi nilimsikiza siku moja akiongea kwa moja hizi vyombo za habari, akaulizwa namna gani unaona kama wale polisi waliweka pressure sana kwa wale demonstrators. Akasema hiyo swali labda liulizwe IG. Mimi niko pale at the policy level, naweza kosa kuelewa zile tactic na strategy polisi wanatumia, na mimi ningesema hiyo swali angefaa kulijibu kama yeye ndiye kiongozi wao, because huwezi kuwa uko pale juu na ujui pale chini kwaje. Ingekuwa ni Ministry of Education angeweza kujibu hiyo swali. Niseme Ministry ya elimu, mimi nimeona kumeletwa wakili. Ningefurahia sana kungeletwa a practitioner, mtu amekuwa kwa industry ya walimu, because rais kwa mara mingi tumemsikia akisema kuna ministers. Mimi mwenyewe najua zaidi kuhusu ministry zao, na mimi ni president. Kwa hivyo akasema hao ministers mimi sioni kama ananisaidia, na rais amerudia hilo kosa bado.
Lakini usisahau walisema hata japo kuna wale ambao amewarejesha, lakini mara hii mambo yatakuwa tofauti, the terms will be different. Nasema unaweza kuwa ulikuwa rafiki yangu na kadhalika, lakini sasa hata kama nimekurejesha mambo ni tofauti.
Hiyo itabaki tungoje tuone kama itakuwa ni hivyo, because
kwa hivyo nahisi vipi kwamba
hakuna mabadiliko, na ndio nasema ile strategy ama ile mawazo ulitumia ikakuweka taabani. Haiwezi kuwa bado hiyo mawazo ndio utaendelea nayo ikutoe kwa taabani. Hawa wamekuwa ni political appointees, na mimi sina shida wakiwa political appointees, but can they be matched with their skills? Can be match their skills? Kama nilisikia huyu Soipana akisema nimewekwa kwa hii defense, lakini nitajikadiri sana niweze kusoma venye kazi inafanyangwa pande hii. Kwa nini labda maybe mtu mwingine mwenye alianza pale kama cadet akapanda juu, akifika kule apatiwe kitu kama hiyo, ataelewa zaidi ile mikakati yoyote, zile changamoto zenye ziko kwa hiyo ministry, na ataweza kusaidia rais. Mimi kuna kitu sisikizanangi na watu wakisema ni PS. Ati PS ndiye kitu yenye hiyo ministry inafanya. Kama ni Ministry of Roads, PS akuwe ni engineer. Kama ni Ministry of Health, PS akuwe ni medical doctor. But mimi swali yangu na kuanga, PS haendi kwa cabinet meetings. Mule mtu mwenye anaenda kwa cabinet meetings ni CS. Hiyo ndio anaketi kwa meza moja na rais, anamwambia hii industry yangu ama ministry yangu iko na hizi na hizi kasoro. Lakini huwezi kuwa kama mimi nipatiwe Ministry of Roads, mimi si engineer, wewe ndio PS wa Ministry of Roads. Unaniambia concept na terminology za engineering, hata nikifikishia rais because mimi si area yangu, sitafikisha venye wewe ungejifikishia mwenyewe ama mimi ningejifikishia kama ningekuwa mimi ni engineer. So hiyo kunakuwa na distortion na kunakosa kuwa na ile continuation mzuri ya communication between the ministries and the presidency when the CS is not an expert in that ministry.
Kwa hivyo kama nimekupata unasema ipo haja ya kuwa na, kama ni waziri wa elimu au ni mtu wa tajriba wa masuala ya elimu, kama ni mambo na afya vile vile au professional. Tusubiria kuona itakuwa vipi, lakini pia tukisalia pale pale, maana tunazungumzia masuala ya uchumi. Baraza hili la mawaziri na tukiangalia waziri ambaye pia amewekwa katika hazina ya kitaifa, John Mbadi ambaye amependekezwa kunradhi kuwa katika ile hazina. Kumbuka pia anatoka upinzani tunasema, ama hakuwa na support serikali. Na vile vile tukiangalia mambo na Hustler Fund, mahali ambapo amewekwa Wycliffe Oparanya ambaye pia yako kwenye serikali. Hapo ni masuala ya uchumi, tunazungumzia uchumi wa mwananchi labda. Ili baraza ama kwa kutaja tu wawili na kwamba watafanya vizuri kuhakikisha kwamba uchumi labda unarejea mahali ambapo unafaa kuwa. Maana ulianza kwa kusema kwamba tuendelee vizuri.
Na ni vizuri umetaja John Mbadi. Huyo ni mtu mmoja mwenye serikali ama rais amepata vizuri, kwa sababu John Mbadi akona ukakamavu na akona tajriba kubwa sana kwa masuala ya kifedha. Yeye ukumbuke amekuwa mwanachama ama yule chairman, amekuwa yeye ndiyo kiongozi wa PAC, Public Accounts Committee. Na hiyo ni committee ya nguvu zaidi sana, because ndio inasaidianga parliament to check, to do oversight on the budget, because the budget inatengenezwa na ile inaitwa BAC, Budget Appropriation Committee, na hii Finance and the National Planning Committee. Hiyo viongozi wenye kiti wa hizo budget wa hizo committees lazima kuwe pande ya serikali, na pande nyingine ya PAC na PIC, Public Investment Committee, lazima ikuwe ni ya upinzani. Na John Mbadi amekuwa kwa hiyo, na John Mbadi amekuwa registered na hii chama cha ISPAC, amekuwa so ana umaarufu na akona hiyo,
so analeta mchango katika kuimarisha uchumi.
Sasa pande hiyo ako sawa. Pande hii nyingine ile changamoto mimi naona atakuwa nayo ni kwa sababu saa hii unless kuna changamoto because yeye mwenyewe ile kubadilisha fikra zake kutoka, unajua tunasema hii serikali ya Rais Ruto ina implement kitu inaitwa bottom up economic transformation agenda, na lazima ulianza na wao ndio uweze kujua ni nini hii wanataka kufanya nini, kutimiza ama kuhitimu. Wao mtu kama John Mbadi alikuwa kwa ile mlengo ingine, so itakuwa bado na taswishu kidogo. Na ukumbuke mtu kama John Mbadi akiwa kule mbungeni ndiye alikuwa alikuwa kwa ile mstari wa kwanza ile kusema vitu kama public debt zikuwe audited. Sasa ameingia kule, amekuja sasa pande ya serikali, tutaendelea kuona yeye akitoa hiyo kauli ya public debt ikuwe audited. So kuna zile mimi naona ingewezekana mtu wa opposition wacha abaki opposition, kwa sababu huko ndiko, if you are a fish wewe endelea kuwa kwa maji, usifike mahali ukafikiri yule mtu anaitwa mwewe ana maisha rahisi kule kwa hewa na wewe hauna hiyo kipawa.
Lakini wenyewe wanasema wamefanywa briefing. Kwa mfano Oparanya alipoulizwa vipi ulikuwa unapinga masuala ya Hustler Fund, akasema kwa sababu wakati huo labda sikuelewa, lakini nimefanywa briefing, nimeelezwa kikamilifu, sasa nimeelewa. Ni kweli. Kwa hivyo wakifanywa wakielekezwa ipasavyo, maana kama lazima wangeanza nao, lakini wamekuja baadaye. Wameelezwa huenda wakaleta utofauti katika kuimarisha uchumi. Hiyo ndio tutangojea tuone, lakini mimi naona inakuwa ni
ni ngumu sana, itakuwa si rahisi, itakuwa si rahisi. Na wakati mwingine mimi kuna yule alikuwa prime minister wa UK, ile wakati UK iliamua kwenda Brexit, yeye aliresign, akasema if the country has chosen a different direction contrary na yenye mimi ningependa, mimi nimeamua kuresign. So watu wenye wako na msimamo kama hao ndio wanaweza tupeleka mbele, because ingekuwa ngumu sana mtu kama I think alikuwa ni Prime Minister Gordon ndio akaamua kuresign, but angesema ati serikali wananchi through referendum wamesema tutoke Brexit, tujikalishe wenyewe, na kwa sababu wamekubali, wenyewe wametoa hiyo kauli, nitawafuata. Na mimi sikuwa na hiyo msimamo wa kutoka wa kufanya Brexit, but yeye alisema mimi msimamo yangu ilikuwa sisi tubaki kwa European Union. Inchi wamefanya referendum, wamesema tutoke, na mimi si president wenu. Ingekuwa kiongozi kama huyo mwenye anasimama kwa zile beliefs zake, because anajua hivyo ndivyo mimi nataka kuona inchi ikifanya nini, ikielekea kwa hiyo direction.
Kabla tumalizie, manake muda umesonga na sijui kama nitapata muda kwenda upande wa pili, tupate simu 2-3, mwelekezo wangu atanieleza. Tubadili mkondo kwa dakika moja tu. Kwa mara ya kwanza pia tumeona naibu rais Rigathi Gachagua akizungumzia tetesi ambazo zimekuwepo za kuweza kumbandua, japo amesema kwamba yuko kidete. Hata hivyo akimbandua kwa misingi ya kutetea watu wake, basi amesema kwamba pia hana shida kwa hilo. Mchakato mzima labda kumbandua naibu rais mamlakani, huo unafanyika vipi? Ni kitu rahisi tu ama kisheria inafanyika vipi?
Mimi naona ni kitu rahisi. Ni kitu rahisi because ile kitu ya maana sana ni wabunge wa support hiyo mswada. Na sahi naibu wa rais Gachagua ako hatarini, kwa sababu ile backyard yake ingempatia support. Wao wenyewe ndio wataanzisha hiyo mswada wa kumngatua kule bungeni, na wote wakipitisha hiyo mswada akuwe hana supporters, then itakuwa rahisi sana. Na ile wakati yenye rais Ruto, ile wakati akiwa makamu, akiwa naibu, ile wakati walianza kutofautiana na mkubwa wake, yeye alikuwa anajua at that time alikuwa na backup ya MPs wengi sana, including wale wa so hata serikali ya Jubilee ingeanzisha mswada kama huyo, alikuwa anajua ako very safe because alikuwa immune, alikuwa protected. But sahi Gachagua hata backyard yake sahi, hata kule Madera kwenye yeye mwenyewe alitoka MP ndio aweze kuwa deputy president, yule MP mwenye aliachia hiyo kiti, inasemekana ndiye hata ataleta hiyo mswada kule bungeni.
Lakini wapo wale wabunge kutoka Mlima Kenya ambao wamesema pia watasimama naye, na usisahau ameingia pale Kalonzo Musyoka, Jeremiah Kioni. Yaani tunasema labda part of Azimio ambao wanasema kwamba hata ule mchakato ukifanyika, sisi hatutakubali kwamba kaweze kubanduliwa. Tukitarajia ama tukitegemea Jeremiah Kioni hana MP yote kule bungeni. Kalonzo Musyoka alikuwa ametoa kauli, wale watu wa Wiper wenye wako kwa hiyo committee of appointments wenye walikuwa wanafanyia interviews the CS nominees, wakatae wale nominees wametoka kwa ODM. Lakini hiyo ilibaki kuwa ni msemo tu ya kutoka kwa kiongozi wao, lakini vyenye wao walifanya inaonekana ni kitu kingine tofauti. So ikisemekana ni wakati wa kungamua naibu wa rais, hapo kuna hatari because kule kwake nyumbani hana ile support kubwa. Kama ni support maybe ya Kalonzo, tena huwezi tegemea sana, kwa sababu MP at the end of the day wao wanafikiria kivyao, wanaweza labda wakuwe convinced na pande ile nyingine, wewe kuja tushirikiane, you scratch my back I scratch yours, na so kuna hatari kubwa sana kwa hivyo kile kinahitajika ni idadi kubwa ya wabunge ama vipi? Na hiyo nataka kuelewa mchakato huo. Yes,
ni idadi kubwa ya wabunge, hii ndio inaweza wakishirikiana hiyo mswada itolewe, because impeachment process inaanzianga kwa bunge. Na though mimi ningeomba sana Rais Ruto, saa hii si wakati wa kufanya hizo vita na naibu wake, because kiuchumi uchumi imedorora. Sasa tuko pahali pabaya sana, na hiyo mchakato, hiyo process ya kumngatua naibu wa rais inaweza leta hata zile zinaitwa civil war, inaweza leta rebellion nyingine. Mimi ningeomba tutulie hivi venye tunasema 2027 haiko mbali, kila kitu acha itulie ndio tuweze kufocus. Foreign investors, wawekezaji kutoka inchi za ngambo waweze kutuamini zaidi. Kama sasa hivi yenye inaonekana kumekuwa na ile kitu inaitwa capital flight. Wawekezaji wa nchi za kigeni ama za ngambo wametoroka Kenya kwa sababu ya hali ya taharuki. So ningeomba hii joto la kisiasa lishuke chini,
uchumi uimarike.
Uchumi uimarike.
Naomba labda upande wa pili, Rashid, kama unaweza pokea simu 2 ama 3, tusikie mwananchi anasemaje, alafu kwa ufupi sana tutaweza kutamatisha mjadala huu. Kwako Rashid.
Safi msikilizaji, kwa ufupi kama ulivyoweza sikia Dora akisema pale, jamani, 07001766. Leo tunaangalia siasa za kiuchumi. Msikilizaji, maoni yako, swali lako. Hello Zinga.
Hello, jambo ndugu yangu Rashid.
Jambo mingi.
Omar Papa Zaina kutoka Lagos and County.
Karibu sana.
Niko na swali moja direct kwa Alex. Ningetaka kuuliza yeye, je, uchumi haifanyi vizuri kwa sababu yeye na Profesa Ndung'u ama kwa sababu policies ya UDA? Shukrani ndugu yangu.
Asante kwa swali lako. Hello Zinga.
Hello Rashid Mkonda.
Yes,
Dani Ngoma. Nilisikia mkeni amenivochi mambo mengi ya kuhusu uchumi, na mimi naona kama hii mambo ya housing sasa ya kukata na nyumba. Maana hii kitu naongeza wananchi sana, na ingine kama mambo hiki unakuta wameweka hata kwa milima hizo vitu jamani, nimeshangaza sana. Ndio mkeni atuelezeke mahali hapo.
Alright, kwako Dora.
Naam, kwa sababu ya muda Bwana Maina, labda tuangazie hayo mawili ambayo yametajwa. Umemwelewa alivyosema? Matatizo ya uchumi yanatokana kwa sababu ya waziri aliyeondoka Profesa Ndung'u, ama pia kwa sababu ya anasema mvutano ndani ya UDA serikali. Matatizo, chanzo chake cha kudorora kwa uchumi.
Kwa maoni yangu, chanzo cha uchumi kudorora ni kwa sababu ya penye tulianzia. Serikali inataka kukimbia mbio kubwa sana, na ikitaka kukimbia mbio kubwa sana inatoza ushuru kwa njia kuu sana, na hiyo ndio inamaanisha hata kama ni ng'ombe unataka maziwa kutoka kwake, kwanza unamulisha, kwanza unamtunza, na anaongeza maziwa. Lakini serikali tunaona inaendelea tu kukamua, hairudishi hii ng'ombe ama huyu mwananchi, huyu taxpayer nafasi ya pia kujikuza. Tukikuja kwa maneno ya e-teams, hii ni changamoto kubwa sana. Hii e-teams inaitwa Electronic Tax Invoicing Management System, yenye tumeona wakulima kule Mount Kenya walikataa hiyo teknolojia ya KRA, madaktari pia walikataa. Pia tuliona, so imekuwa ni changamoto kubwa sana, because e-teams inasema mtu yote mwenye anafanya biashara lazima atumie mtandao wa e-teams kufanya biashara. Kama utanunua kitu yoyote na haijapitia kwa mtandao wa e-teams, then ukikuja kufanya mahesabu zako za biashara za mwisho wa mwaka, ndio uweze kujua umepata profit ya pesa ngapi na utalipa ushuru ya pesa ngapi. Expense yote yenye kutumia kwa e-teams haitaweza kufanya nini? Haitaweza kufahamika ama kukubalika na serikali kama ni expense ya biashara. So hapa naona inaweka wafanyikazi kwa hali ya taharuki, na kuna shida mingi sana, because hata mtandao wa e-teams wenye wafanyabiashara wanafaa tumie kuuzia. Ukiuza kitu lazima upatiane e-teams receipt, lakini unastukia hii e-teams platform yenyewe yenye ni mtandao umepatiwana na KRA, mara zingine unakuwa uko down. Unaona for a whole week huwezi uza kwa sababu hii system ya e-teams iko chini. Unajua ni online, iko driven by internet. So kama iko na shida, then wafanyikazi pia wanakuwa wafanya biashara wanakuwa pia na hiyo changamoto. So kwa kifupi mimi ningesema serikali iweze ensure that hali ya hii joto kubwa sana la kisiasa liweze kupunguzwa, na serikali pia ipunguze mbio. Kama ilichukua Kibaki 10 years kutoka kwa 250 billion to 1 trillion, na Uhuru kutoka kwa trilioni 1 kwenda trilioni 2 kukuja kwa kukusanya ushuru. Hata hii ya Daktari Ruto ni ingekuwa bora zaidi kama pia angepunguza pace, na ndio maana umeona mswada wa fedha wa 2023 uliangushwa, wa 2024 uliangushwa. Kwa sababu nini? Kwa sababu ya kutaka kwenda hiyo mbio kali sana.
Naam, tukimalizia tu labda kwenda mbele, maana lazima tujue tunaelekea wapi na tufanye vipi. Labda unaona kama ni mabadiliko yapi labda katika sera ambayo ni muhimu sana, ambayo yatasaidia katika kupata nafuu, hasa kutokana na hasara za kiuchumi ambazo tumeshuhudia kutokana na masuala ya maandamano. Labda kwenda mbele tufanyeje? Tuliona wafanyabiashara wakilalama, wengi wakisema kwamba mambo hayako sawa, wengi wamepoteza mamilioni na uwekezaji wao. Tufanyeje kwenda mbele? Tubuni sera zipi kuhakikisha kwamba kwenda mbele mambo yako sawa?
Ni swali mzuri. Ningeomba serikali imebadilisha mfumo wake, na kidogo inaonekana inaanza kusikiza wananchi. Wananchi wanataka nini? Inawasikiza. Ningesema iwasikize zaidi. Hii safari serikali ni mamlaka yote iko kwa mwananchi. Serikali ni vizuri ielewe hivyo, iendelee kuelewa hivyo, ndio ikifanya natengeneza sera ikuwe ni zile sera zenye zinasaidia mwananchi wa kawaida zaidi, lakini si kusaidia tu wachache wenye wako kwa uongozi.
Labda moja tu, wakati tunasema kutengeneza sera, na hizo ndizo sera ambazo nauliza, labda kitu kama kipi haswa ambacho nasema hii tukifanya kwenda mbele hatutaathirika zaidi, kutokana pia na masuala ambayo tumeyaona katika siku ambazo zilipita.
Kitu kama moja, unaona hii wakati wanapitisha mswada, bili yote inatoka first reading, second reading, third reading. So tukifanya ile wakati tumefanya public participation, na wananchi wanasema 90% hatutaki hizi kama hatutaki hizi sera zikuwe introduced, lakini unaona public participation inafaa itengenezwe act ndio ikuwe public participation, si an exercise in futility. Ati tu serikali imekuja to the public, imewauliza maoni yenu na wamepatiana, wamekataa. Na wakikataa 90%, serikali inaendelea bado na kufanya nini? Kutimiza chenye walikuwa wanataka na wananchi wamekataa. So mimi ningeomba kukuwe na Public Participation Act yenye inasema that public participation si an exercise in futility, ama ile inaitwa tu ya formality tu. Wananchi wakikataa, wamekataa, wasikizwe. But saa hii hakunanga hiyo ya kusema wananchi wakikataa tufanye nini. Serikali iko na nguvu ya kuwa na ile inaitwa veto power, ya kusema tulikuwa tunataka hizi ushuru zikuwe introduced, lakini wananchi wamekataa. Serikali inafaa ifuate ile maoni ya wananchi. Serikali ijakuwa ikifuata, na ndio maana Finance Act imeangushwa na Finance Bill 2024 imeangushwa.
Okay. Nafikiri kwa sababu ya muda tutakomea pale, mahali pazuri pa kumalizia. Na nisikia fununu za hapa na pale mambo na Public Participation Act. Kuna mahali iko tu mahali chini ya maji. Bunge wanafaa kuishughulikia, lakini labda hayo ni masuala ya siku nyingine. Lakini asante kutenga muda kufika katika studio zetu.
Asante sana Dora.
Shukrani sana. Na mtazamaji vile vile KBC Channel 1, msikilizaji wa Radio Taifa, tuna la ziada. Inabidi tukome pale kwa sababu ya muda ambao siku zote huwa hautoshi. Tumekuwa naye Dr. Alex Maina Kamau ambaye ni mwanauchumi, tukiangazia masuala mbalimbali tu ya uchumi wetu wa taifa hapa nchini Kenya, na kwenda mbele tusubirie kuona mambo yatakuwa vipi. Na subira kwa sasa, wengi wanasubiri, wanauliza vipi baada ile ripoti ya baraza ama kamati ambayo ilikuwa inawapiga msasa mawaziri. Sote tusubiria tuone itakuwa namna gani. Kutoka kwangu sina la ziada, tuendelee kuzungumza katika mitandao ya kijamii. Narejea upande wa pili wa Channel 1 na vile vile upande wa kwanza Radio Taifa, kwako Rashid Mwamkondo. Mimi naitwa Dora Manya.
stroke was probably where Pan had to do some catching up. But they really threw everything at it, China. And congratulations to France. That was such a courageous relay swim.
Nick, you're so right. France didn't even make the Tokyo final, and here they win bronze. There's your finish. By the end, Pan had proven he was definitely the fastest freestyle leg.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out.
Who is the man in this one?
And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevakishwa. Sisi wakati tulikuwa tunapishwa tunapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow. Wow. Yeah!
We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Welcome back, and we are glad that you are still with us. This is Good Morning Kenya. My name is Vivian Degwa, and now we get into our health segment. Health check it is. Today being a Tuesday, you know that is how we do it right here on Good Morning Kenya. And our topic of conversation today is on breast cancer, and we'll be looking at ways to manage breast cancer. You know, how to just go about working on your mental health, working on your treatments, and so on and so forth. And joining me for this particular conversation is one Jane Njagwa. Jane Njagwa is a mental health therapist. She is an addiction counselor. She is the CEO, Global Voice of the Voiceless, and a breast cancer survivor. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You're doing all right this morning?
I am doing very well. I'm blessed. I cannot complain.
We love that. We love that.
You.
All right, before we get into our main topic of conversation, maybe you can tell us a bit about what you do as the CEO of the Global Voice of the Voiceless, what it's all about.
Global Voice is a non-profit organization that feeds the people experiencing homelessness. It also educates orphans and also touches vulnerable people that don't have a voice. We speak for you, so meaning if people have ruled you out, if you don't have education money, things like that, Global Voice comes in. Yeah.
You're also an addiction counselor?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because addictions is also another mental health, another health issue, and I come from a family that learns addiction. Yeah, addiction runs in my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, as a breast cancer survivor, I want you to give us your story, you know, because I'm sure maybe there's someone who's watching who would gain some inspiration from that, or rather even, you know, just get the the urge to keep fighting after they, them seeing you here as a survivor of breast cancer? Because most of the times people say that, oh, cancer is a death sentence. So whenever you're diagnosed with it, then it's the end of you. But we just want, to give the voice to the people out there, just to let them know that they will be able to fight through it. So if you can just take me through your journey of cancer. When first were you diagnosed with a cancer? Which year was it?
That was 2022. Yes, and I was just sitting in my office rejecting to go for mammogram because the name cancer has never been in my mind. I hear it, I see it, but I've never thought it can occur to me. So I kept changing not to go for the mammogram, but one day I decided, you know what? They keep calling me, let me go for the mammogram, and that is the day I was diagnosed, and they told me they are seeing some calcifications, which are like, if I can explain a little bit, it's like dots, nothing, no tumor, nothing I could feel, and that is when they told me they need to do a biopsy. And then when they did a biopsy, the day came when they said, I have breast cancer. And my life changed from that time, because when you hear the name cancer, you'll be like, what? You don't know the stage, and that is if you don't have any support, if you don't have good way of feeling that name come to you, you'll be very scared, it's the end of the world. So that is where my life started, and from there I went and got checked, and then I had to do a mastectomy. And as a woman, when you do a mastectomy, you can have a self-esteem, because you feel like without the breast, like something have gone out of you. And being a woman, that's a major something that can cause mental health. And then from there, I went for treatment, and I started by having to have the breast taken out, like I say, mastectomy, and then to reconstructive, where you get another breast if you choose. It can come from silicone, but you have to stay with silicone for some time so that you can expand, because the skin have to be expanded. And then from there you choose if you want to have silicone, if you want they take meat from your stomach, from here, from your back, wherever you have skin. If you have a good candidate, they will take that and give you a new breast. And that is what happened to me, and you can see I look good.
You do look very good.
So it's not a killer. It's not a killer. No, it can actually be a start of your journey, because sometimes I am a Christian, and sometimes your life, my life was going very well. I was just going through my doctorate classes, and I thought my life is on the roof. But however, sometimes God will knock on your door and tell you, you are very far, come close. And cancer brought me very close to God, so that because I had to call him to ask him what stage. And then because of early detection, I was on 0 stage, but the calcifications had gone to all corners of my breast. And so instead of
to do the myectomy.
Yes, you have to choose whether you want them to take where the calcifications are, like, because they'll be at 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock, like the whole or the milk dark. And so the best thing is to just choose to have the mastectomy, because you don't want to be like, you take it out there and then you keep getting worried, did they travel on the other side? So myself, I choose the mastectomy.
All right, before we even continue with how your life, went on after that, maybe were there any symptoms that you were experiencing before you went in for the checkup?
Nothing at all.
You didn't get any symptoms whatsoever?
No.
Yeah?
No, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we, doctors and the health practitioners keep advocating for just checkups.
Yes.
Sometimes maybe before it shows any kind of signs, it's at a later stage.
Yes.
So early detection is really, really important.
Very important.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Yes.
And when we were talking earlier, away from the cameras, you told me that you battled it for just a year.
Yes.
Tell me about that. Because many people may battle it for years. Yours was just a year.
Yes,
Tell
because when I realized I have it, the first thing is to accept you have it. And then what is the second thing? The second thing is to look for the treatment. So after the treatment, the reason why I have battled it very quickly is because after I realized I'm detected at a very early stage, the treatment becomes easier. Because if you are diagnosed at a later stage, you have to do chemo, you have to do radiation. And because of my early stage, all those were ruled out. So I will come from having the mastectomy to reconstructive because I am at an early stage. But like I say, if you are later stage, you will start with all those things that will take you almost to 1 year, 2 years before the doctor can be able to even know, can they treat you and how can they treat you. So early detection is very, very important. Yeah.
I want to take you back to the moment when you went for that mammogram, right? And then the doctor told you that, okay, you may be having breast cancer, you have breast cancer. What was your first reaction like? How was that moment like for you?
I passed out. Yeah, I was very shocked. I was in the office and I am a therapist. I was giving therapy to another person and my head just was blank. I had to give the phone to somebody else to receive the news for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And where does someone start from there? Because I know that's the same for so many people, because none of us is out here or thinking that they would get, breast cancer or any other type of cancer or any other disease, looking at it that way. So where does one start from there?
The number one thing is to accept the disease is here and you can't take it out. So once you accept, what is your support system? Is it your family? Is it your friends? Is it, depending on who is your support system, then you start from there, like where you accept, and then you start going for other tests, because it can be they might have seen like it is cancer, but it's not cancer. So they're gonna go through other tests, they're gonna go through other scans, and then from there you're gonna go and see your doctor. The surgeon will tell you like you need mastectomy, you need to be treated. There are so many ways you can get this done, but if it is the later stages, like I said earlier, then that is where you start the chemos and radiation before they can even do anything else. So yeah.
All right. There's that point where I say that most people look at it as a death sentence. Maybe for someone who's watching right now and they've just received such a diagnosis, what would you say to them?
I would first tell them it's gonna shock them. That is true. They're gonna have they will cry, and if you have to cry, just do it, because if you cross the tears inside you, it becomes another illness. And so because once you accept, once you cry, once you finish that, then the next thing is accept it. If you look at me, honestly, I actually became more prettier than when I didn't have it. So once you accept and you go to the stages, I am over 50 years of age. So just know that when you accept, you have the mastectomy, you're gonna get new boobs, like for a young girl, So you just accept.
I love the way you're looking at the positive side of it.
You have to, because if you look at the negative, you're gonna have depression. You're gonna go down. It's like when you're having a marathon and you look at it this way. If you stay down, people gonna step on you. But if you remember, Martin Luther said, if you cannot walk, just crawl. If you cannot learn, walk.
Whatever happens, keep moving.
Keep moving. Even if it's moving your hand, keep moving. Because it's gonna be tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a very tough journey. But if you wanna stay on the negative, you're gonna get tougher. But if you wanna stay on the positive, where you see, I remember that lady, me, she didn't look sick, and I'm still going through treatment, But if you accept it and be positive, you won't be able to battle depression. I am actually, I talk about it very openly because it's just another disease. It's not a killer. No, many people have survived. But one thing I realized, when people hear you have cancer, they are the ones that kill you. It's not even what you're going through, because you can tell people being very shocked. They actually show you like you are dying. And so you have to be very careful how you receive the people you are telling. They will be very they'll be like the ones killing you. Yeah. So if to whoever is battling this, just stay positive. Whoever you are telling, if they tell you, wow, oh, you have it? Oh, yeah, I have it, and it's a regular disease just like any other. And you got this. You got this. Once you accept, and mindset, this is very important. How do you feel? You feel down, but I told you, as long as you're moving a little bit, you got this. And if you remember me, positive attitude will take you many places, and it's not a killer disease. No, it's not. Yeah.
Something else with cancer generally, not just breast cancer, is that this treatment is quite costly. You know, so maybe what can you talk about that? You know, what can you say about the costs of cancer?
Yes, it's very costly, and that is where your support system comes in. Sometimes you might not have insurance, and that is where now you join people, that the groups that have people struggling just like you, and let somebody know. A lot of people hide breast cancer. It is like they feel, if I tell people I have cancer, they're gonna see death in them. But talk about it. If you have to fundraise, if you don't have insurance, if you have family, because it's a very expensive way of doing this. You don't have to have reconstructive and have breast. If you look at yourself and think you're only pretty, if you have the breast, you have long way to go. Because breast is just a part of a body, just like the eyes and anywhere else. Because as a woman, we feel you must have a chest. A man will only want you if you have a good body. If your man wants you because you have a good body, he's not somebody you want to stay with. So to me, I would say talk about it, join the groups that can actually help you. There's somebody somewhere who are battled like me, and somebody like, let's say somebody is in the village somewhere and they don't have the money. That is where we come in. Global Voice of the Voiceless, where it's called Global Voice of the Voiceless, where every voice is golden. So speak up. Remember this, and just look for Global Voice. We will be there for you. Yeah.
What's the importance of joining such groups when you're battling such a disease? What's the importance of just being in the presence of people who understand you? You know, you can tell me about it, but since I haven't gone through it, I haven't experienced it, it might be a bit, you know, I wouldn't be feeling you the same way that someone else who's gone through the same thing get to understand you. So why is it so important, or what's the importance, you know? I want you to just amplify the importance of one being in such groups. Once you know you have that disease or maybe any other, you find groups of people with the same.
Because once you join groups of people going through what you are going through, you don't know you didn't even have anything. You might be going through mastectomy of one side. There's somebody going through mastectomy. They are diabetic. They are having their leg cut. And you're just saying, I have one breast. And so when you join those groups, they support you. They let you know you're not alone. And you feel, be able to open up. Because if you feel if you're with another woman who have gone through mastectomy, and so it's the same, we're gonna communicate. You might think you know everything, but the other woman might tell you something you don't know. So it's always good to be joining those groups for your support system. The coping skills I might be using might not be working for me, but the other woman has some other coping skills that can help me better. So once we share in the group, and we are open because we are all going through the same thing, that is where now you find, oh, I thought I was the worst. No, but there's somebody who is going through worse things than you, and they are actually going to work, they are actually vibrant, their life is thriving. So that is where you get to see, oh, why am I down? And then they lift you up. Yeah.
Do we have enough of such groups, or better, we can do better in terms of opening such?
We can do better by opening such, because a lot of people, cancer is now very home. And the reason I say that is, my cancer is not a family cancer. We don't have cancer in my family. So I underwent some treatment to know, because of my daughter, I wanted to know, is it a family disease? But it's not. So because of that, cancer is here because mine is age. cancer related, and it's hormonal related, environmental, the food that I've been eating, the things I've been doing. So people don't have a lot of groups because cancer has been hidden. A lot of people don't say it because actually when it's breast, a lot of people don't say about it. But a lot of groups need to be set up so that we can support people, because to be honest with you, if we don't change the way we are living, cancer is here. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've brought up the issue of, you know, what you eat can also be the cause. Maybe what lifestyles changes did you have to take from then on, you know, in terms of your nutrition, you know, your diet and so on?
First of all, cancer hates stress. Cancer hates sugar. Cancer hates junk food. Cancer likes greens, regular good food. That is what you need to do. Exercise is very important. Meditation is very important. And also your support system, all those included. You cannot just do the diet, because you can do the diet, but you are living under a stressful environment. But first of all, sugar is one thing that you have to rule out. And then from there on, you change to a very good, healthy diet. Forget about the junk food, the chicken. They might look good, but they are not going to be good for you. Yeah.
So you lean more on the vegetables, the fruits.
And general, you can eat, it depends with the portion. We have a lot of good food here in Kenya. So as long as the food is not the one that was fried with a lot of grease, the junk food, as long as you eat good, health, balanced diet, you got this. Yeah.
I love that. You got this.
You got this, yes.
What was your biggest challenge during that treatment journey?
The biggest challenge was sometimes I would see as if it can come, because mine came on the light side, and once it's gone a little bit, it goes to lymph nodes. These are right here on your, that is the way the cancer travels in your body. So my biggest challenge was like my lymph nodes hide themselves, and I did not know, did it spread to the other one? And also, how do I tell my children? How do I tell my family? So those were the challenges I had. I had to speak to myself. I had to meditate, because the way you deliver this message to your children, to your parents, to your family, matters a lot. So that was my challenging moments on how I will communicate that I have breast cancer.
Yeah. And how do you do that? Where does someone start? You know, how do you approach the people who love you the most, knowing that, you know, how this condition is viewed? How do you approach them and tell them that, okay,
depending on who they are? Let's say if you are in Nairobi town, where you can Google some things, you're going to call a meeting and you're going to be smiling and you're going to show your children it is here, but it is not here to stay. A lot of people have battled this. So once you let them know, cheerfully, and showing them the treatment works, and it's 99% survival, then you'll be able to explain to them that, so that they can support you, that you have it, but they'll be able to support you. But once you go with depression, once you go to them crying or things like that, you are not only the one who had cancer now, but you have spread, even though it's not the physical cancer, but you have spread the disease to your children. But once you let them know step by step, it's here, I have accepted, and take your time, talk to somebody else. You know, if you can deliver it, let somebody else deliver it in a good way, because you can break somebody completely by the way you deliver the news. But it is just breast cancer. It's just like any other disease. And once you let them know that, depending with the age of your children, the age of your parents, and depending on how you break the news, but let them have a meeting, let them explain to them that it is curable and all that. And believe me not, give them an example of a woman you know that have breast cancer. People have fought this. I'm not the only one. And they will understand. Yeah,
that's very true. And when we talk about support systems, I know we've talked about it in terms of the groups, you know, the people who share the same experience with you. But what of the support systems in terms of family? You know, sometimes you may need caregivers while going through that. What's the importance of that support system? And this is also for maybe any relative who's out there and they have someone in the family who's battling the same, just to let them know how important it is to have people around you who would be willing to look after you. because sometimes it gets to a point where you really need help in terms of who is around you, who's, you know, looking after you.
Support system from family is very important because when you are going through this, you're going to have fatigue. You're going to be staying in bed most of the time. So your support system have to walk with you by wearing your shoe, like empathy and understanding that whatever she's going through can cause depression. So be gentle. Like if they have fatigue, be there for them. Like tell them how to walk. Like walk with them. Go to talk to them, and also understand that they need you at this given time. If they cry, let them cry. But however, be very gentle. Remember, is somebody going through cancer. Cancer is not easy, but once you accept and your family is there, if you don't have family, there are some people, friends come more than family. Whoever you call family might not be who I call family, but as long as you have support system, you will get through this, because there are sometimes you'll be down, there are sometimes you'll be feeling fatigued, there are sometimes you feel like you don't want to talk to nobody. Just let them understand those days that you don't want to talk to nobody. Don't push, don't pressure that person, because the medication we go through can sometimes don't feel like I really want to talk. Don't take them personal. Just encourage them, just support them, let them eat with you and things like that.
Yeah, and most times what they need is that peace of mind.
Yes.
You know, and it's really important when you're battling such, right?
Yes. Sometimes you don't even have to say a word. Just by sitting right there, that's it. Just by giving a hug, that's it. Just by asking, would you like to take some water? That's it. You don't have to talk, because you might use words that can, if you are, let's say like, you might use some words that are harsh, but you did not know. You didn't mean it. You didn't mean it. So if you don't know what to say, just be there and be very quiet. It means a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, mental health during this time, or during a time when you're battling such, is really, really important. So I would love to know, how can someone go about keeping their mental health in check, being that you're actually a mental health therapist? So how can someone what steps to take in order for them to have their mental health in check? And we'll actually get to speak about that in a moment. If we can just maybe take the break first, and then when you come back, you give us the steps. We try now look at the mental health bit of it, how to try and manage that. Some people even get into addiction just from that. So we'll get back and talk about the steps that one would take, you know, in order to just make sure that they keep their mental health in check. We take a short break right now. Don't you go too far. We'll be back to continue with that.
Siku zinasonga sambamba na matukio yanavyojiri.
Kuyajua hayo, mbali na hamasa zilizopo kwingineko, shirika la utangazaji KBC limejitolea kuhakikisha ubora wa matangazo yasiyo na chuku.
Darubini huangazia mengi ya kusini na kaskazini, mashariki na magharibi, na kukuwasilishia kwa njia stahiki.
Ufasaha, usawa, uketo, pasipo kuegemea upande wowote.
Iwapo hutakishaka kwa unachoarifiwa, Darubini itakidhi mahitaji yako.
Jina langu ni Nancy Onyancha.
Na mimi ni Harith Salim.
Jina langu ni Gladys Mungai.
Mimi ni Ahmed Jumabalo.
Nami ni Sarafina Robi.
KBC, angazo la Wakenya.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out.
Who's the man in this one?
And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevaa kichwani. Sisi wakati tulikuwa tunaapishwa tunapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow. Yeah!
We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
All right, and we are back. Thank you for staying with us. Before we took that break, I had mentioned that when we come back, we'll look at the mental health way, you know, how to just make sure you are keeping your mental health in check. And now, Jane, maybe what steps would you advise someone to take? Matters taking care of their mental health, ensuring that they have a positive outlook while battling such or while going through the breast cancer treatment.
The first thing is to accept yourself that you have cancer, because it has a lot of denial. There are 5 stages of grief, and the 5 stages of grief, the first one is denial. You hear like you have cancer, and I had denial. I had to ask the doctor so many times. So you say this early stage, and so I don't have it. So the first thing is to accept you have it. The second thing is to look for specialists who will be conducting your treatment, because there are so many people, but who is good for your treatment? The third thing is to narrate people, your support system, who will you lean on? Take time, be gentle to yourself. Don't be like harsh to yourself, because you need yourself. Because at long last, you are the one who got yourself. And then after you know the surgeon or the treatment place, you are gentle to yourself. Now it's time for the treatment. When you are going through treatment, it can bring depression. There are some sides that you cannot avoid, to cry, to look at yourself and see as if it's the end of the world. That will come. But remember, when that door knocks on you, there is something that represses. Sometimes we do treatment therapies, like it's called cognitive behavior therapy, where you replace the bad mentor with the good one. It will tell you, Jane, you have cancer, you don't have a long to live. You have to remember the other side. No, I have. That's not me. You are talking to the wrong person. So those are the copy. You have to have like 5 affirmations, because it will always knock. But once it knocks, sometimes it is the day you feel somebody dies of breast cancer. And you feel like, wow, they died? We were in the same group, so I'm gonna die too. No, you ain't gonna die too, because death is inevitable. But we don't gonna die because somebody else has died. You don't know what they were eating. You don't know whether they followed the right thing. Be educated. Look for education. Look for people like us. Look for the group support system, so that you'll be able to handle this without depression. There is a lot of stress. Like when you are going through treatment, there is a lot of pain. Like when you are going through the surgeries, like be gentle. Just know it cannot rain forever. If it rains today, tomorrow is sunshine. So just remember, when you are going through those steps, I did not say it's gonna be easy. No, but what I said is, depending on how you take it, you can easily it for yourself. But if you wanna bring it very difficult and you are not gentle to yourself, believe me, there are so many people that have depression coming from this. What else do people do? They cover it with alcohol and drugs. Please don't cover it with nothing, because the moment you cover it with drugs, you have gotten to another disease of addiction. Once you have depression, you have three things now. If only you could have done breast cancer by itself, you didn't have to have addiction, you didn't have to have mental health. And guess what? Once you cover it with alcohol, tomorrow, do you still have breast cancer?
Well, yeah.
You still have it. Do you still have to go through mastectomy? Yes, but right now you can't even go through the mastectomy the right way, because the doctor has to give you medication that are for person who is taking alcohol. So if only you can be able to be gentle to yourself. Remember, it cannot rain forever. Remember, if you have the best specialist, like you remember you took the best, you got this. But mental health is real when it comes to cancer, but you don't have to have mental health. Depression will knock. Anxiety will knock. Stress, there's some good stress and bad stress. Just remember, don't be on the bad stress. Take the good stress, because you can't live in this world and don't have stress. Mental health is a taboo in our culture. People have a stigma about it. I tell you this, mental health is very important, because how do you know the coping skills? You are crying every day because you have breast cancer. How will you know how to go to the next step? But if you go to a therapist and have a connection, she will be able, or he will be able to guide you how to go next, so that you don't have to have any depression, any anxiety, any stress. But always remember, I did not say it's gonna be easy, but you can make it easy for yourself. Yeah.
And it all starts in the mind. Once you have a positive outlook, I believe there's really nothing that you can't tackle. It's gonna be hard, yes, as you keep saying, it's not gonna be easy. But as long as your mental state is, you're looking at life, you're living on the positive side of life, as some would say. You feel like that's the best way to go at it first.
Oh yes, mindset is when you set up your mind to do something, sky is not the limit. The mindset is very important, because it's the only one that will be able to walk you through this. If you have the positive, like you're saying, you will be able to tackle this. But if you have a negative, you'll only be seeing death. You'll only be seeing, oh, it spreads from this one, it's gonna go to this one. Then that's what's gonna happen. But if you're positive and say, oh, I got it, it's just like a regular disease and I will handle it, then you will be able to. But negativity will never take you anywhere. That is where you're gonna have stress, depression. And like I say, you're gonna cover it to something else. Your skin can even tell that you are loud but silent. So just remember, you don't have to say nothing for people to know, wow, she looks different these days, because you're not even speaking it out. You are not even gentle to yourself. So mental health, mental side, mindset is very important when you are dealing not only with breast cancer, anything that you handle in this world. Mental, your mindset is very important.
And I can imagine for someone who's battling, you know, something like breast cancer and is going through the treatments, you know, the chemos and whatnot, you know, having to have your breasts being taken up, you know, cut off, you know, literally. Like, I can imagine the roller coaster of emotions. So you're allowed to have bad days. As much as we're saying you remain positive, you must be having this roller coaster of emotions. Like, one time you can be, okay, I'm positive, I'm gonna do this, and then the next moment maybe you're feeling, oh man, did this really need to happen to me? You know, why all this? So it's also important for someone to know that it's okay to go through that roller coaster of emotions, right?
Yes, it is very okay to go through that roller coaster, because if you don't go through that, you are not a human being. So once the bad ones comes in, that you can't even walk out of your house because you have been crying every day, that is when you speak to a specialist or speak to your support system. But it is normal. I went through all that roller coaster, and in the beginning you're gonna go through that. And then that is where now your mindset, you put it on the positive, and remember, if I stay in bed and don't go for whatever makes me healthy, what is the outcome? So once you know the outcome of the emotions that have gone beyond. There is regular ones and the ones that have gone beyond. The ones that have gone beyond are going towards depression. So don't let the ones that are going beyond take over. That is where you need support, to speak to your support system, to your therapist, to your doctor, whoever is your support system. You need to let them know your emotions are rocking very, very high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, when we're talking about you know, breast cancer patients and all that, we worry about their mental health, right?
Yes.
But then I feel like the people who are normally not or are kind of forgotten are the people who take care of these patients, because their mental health is also just as important, because they are the ones who are with the patients on a daily basis.
Yes.
So what about their mental health? What would you say to those who take care of the patients?
The caregivers are the same. Yeah, like let's say you have somebody with breast cancer. You're taking care of them. Actually, you are the one who is going through more than the one who have breast cancer. It's just the same as if you have somebody who has addiction. The whole family have addiction. Because if somebody has not come home at night and they struggle with, let's say, addiction, you also not sleeping, knowing where are they. So the caregivers that take care of these people have to also have their mental health checked. And they also have to realize that you have to have time for self-care. Self-care is number one. Take some time off. Just go to the toilet. Meditate in the toilet. But take care of yourself, because you are taking care of somebody else. And so it's double, because every human being have their own problems. But now you have taken your sister, your mother, your brother's problems with you. So you are actually worse than this person having breast cancer. So take care of yourself, and if they have to go therapy, they all need therapy. Yeah.
Now, as we almost come to a close of this conversation, maybe how did that experience, you know, having to battle breast cancer, going through the treatment, you know, getting your breast cut off, how did that experience change your perspective of life?
It have changed me by knowing, like, first of all, beautiful things, like cars, like beauty, like things like that are vanity. The best thing you have to know is life is very short. Enjoy to the fullest. Enjoy with beautiful things. Having to help somebody is something that will come along. Once you are battling cancer, remember, in the beginning, it will be a shocking disease because you don't know the stage. So, and if it is gone, believe me, the treatment is very, very different. But it's changed the perspective of me knowing that closer to God is where you belong. The things of the world are not what gonna cure you, but believing in God, having faith, and anything that comes along that way will make you be able to handle this. The God of your own understanding, because we all have different religions, we all have different way of worshiping. So depending on what you believe in, keep going close to that, because it's the only way you can handle my perspective changed of knowing I have to enjoy my life. I will not dwell with negativity. I will not dwell with anybody dragging me to cancer is gonna kill you. But I'll be like, no, it's a regular disease. Do you know, since I was diagnosed, how many people have passed on? To be honest with you, you can just sleep and pass on. And you can just fall down here. So why would you think I gonna die of cancer? God have named our days, and if you get close to God of your own understanding, you will be able to handle this with faith and all that, and you'll be able to have resilience. No matter what comes on your life, the curveball that you are thrown with will make you actually thrive more.
I love that. I love that. Now, aside from the global Voice of the Voiceless, which is what you run, you're the CEO, you also have this cosmetic line. And as we wind up, I would love for you, because with this cosmetic line, what you do, the people that you hire are, it's not because of their CVs, it's not because of their qualifications in school and whatnot, it's because of the stories they have. So you're more inclined to those who are vulnerable, you know, to those who are less fortunate, to those people who might be written off in the society. So if you may just speak a bit about that as you let people know where to find you, maybe for someone who is looking for such, you know, and for someone who's also maybe going through, who's battling breast cancer and would love to reach out to you just to get an encouragement words from you. You can do that as we finish.
I'm a CEO of Likachi. Likachi is a cosmetic company, and we are wholesalers, mostly found in best ready shops. We hire people that have gone through life, like you are ruled out. When I was little, I was ruled out as nobody. So my company does not hire you because of education. My company hires you if you have a story. A lot of people don't know. The manager of my company is somebody that I've educated until he went to the university. And once he came out of the university, we had to hire him until he gets to where God will take him. So my company only hires you if you have a story. And it's not about education, it's just about what have you battled in life. That is how we give you a job.
Mind sharing the social media handles maybe for someone who would love to get back to you later?
I am on Facebook, Global Voice of the Voiceless. I am on TikTok. I am on Instagram. I have email, Global Voice of the Voiceless. .org is our website, or the email is global voice of the voiceless at gmail.com. We also provide the phone number. It's plus, you have to put +1 443 for those people that want to call me, 253-0972. And I am available as a therapist for mental health, addictions. I also teach people something I did not say. I'm a senior cosmetology. I teach people how to get their own skills. Instead of helping you all the time, I can teach you how to do hair, get your license, and open your own salon. Instead of going through that, I teach you as private, and it's free of charge.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, and thank you also for the work that you do for the community. It's very commendable.
Thank you.
All right. This is where we call it a wrap right here on Good Morning Kenya. That was Jane Njagua, and she just has spoken a lot about managing breast cancer, and I'm sure for someone who may be battling the same, I hope that this interview has given you some hope to life. And if you would love to meet, to get to talk to her maybe later, she has shared how you can find her. My name is Vivian Ndegwa. Thank you so much to each and every one of you who has been tuned in. We do this again tomorrow, same time and place, God willing. Do have yourselves a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Safaricom, proud sponsor of Team Kenya at the Olympics.
Somehow found it within herself to come through and take third place ahead of the Brit. Up front though, Mora, despite being exhausted at the end of it, controlled that race beautifully. And well, Worknesh did benefit a little bit there from a little bit of kindness by the Jamaican Natoya.
But Benema, feeding off the frenzy of the crowd, bounced back to win the second round. When the third and final round ended, both fighters believed they had won. The judges awarded a unanimous decision to Benema, sending him to the gold medal match.
Belgium's main man to save his team. But no, the shot was saved. Incredible scenes as Spain go through to the semi-finals in a dramatic finish.
Safaricom, proud sponsor of Team Kenya at the Olympics.
Well, the fastest, the blue ribbon event, the quick fire one lap.